around and I'm getting it. They riding around pretending. I've been had it, I've been done it. I promise that it's all empty. They say they riding Bugattis. May put some babies through college. Quit trying to act like the trap is cool, cause we tired of hearing that garbage. 8 bags of white, pints of lean. I've been on dope boy since a teen. But this ain't what we meant to be. And y'all don't make no sense to me. You pump faking, ain't shooting, ain't killing, ain't doing. Had them things you say you're doing. But 116 we stay true and they dope dealing, they coke pimping. Talking about my own folk killing. We on that Jesus soul healing. So serious, go realers. Wild angry, can't tame us. Been changed, can't change us. 116 you can't shame us. Live that truth you can't. I heard him say he bought the block. In his song he say he gangster but he not. Say he making money, cashing big checks. While his chain leaving green on his neck. I'm not impressed.
So I guess that make you, guess that make you, that make you a faker. Guess that make you, guess that make you, that make you a faker. Guess that make you, guess that make you, that make you a faker. Guess that make you, guess that make you, that make you a faker.
Yo, what is going on? Another start sit stream tonight, and we are excited to help you guys hopefully win week 3. It's been crazy with the amount of injuries. My teams are looking shot. My subscriber league is not looking good. I had CMC, did not pick up Jordan Mason, and someone stashed Jordan Mason on me. And so we are excited to see what can happen going forward, but excited to answer all your guys' start sit questions here tonight. Love to hear how y'all are doing. Element, shout out to you for being here. You said, yo, OJ Lecrae. Yes, it is OG. My friend actually made that little bit of a remix. And so this was done back in like 2016. So I decided that for streams we're definitely open with it. Yeah, it was definitely the jam. Yep, Thizzle. And feels great to be back. Element, it's good to see you as well. So like I said, guys, if you guys have any start sit questions, throw those bad boys in the chat. Subscriber chat is on, so you do have to be subscribed for a minute, but I am answering every stinking question y'all throw in the chat here tonight. It's going to be an absolute banger, so I'm excited to see what is to come. Now, a lot of news. We put out our running back rankings today, put out a trade video, a lot of great waiver wire, so I'm excited to see how things are turning out for your guys' teams, what you're looking like, what these start sit questions are going to be, because, like I said, I got a league where... Yo, shout out to you, Zay. Type out that team. Let me know. I got a team with, this is the decision. So I have A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Jordan Addison. Who else is injured on that squad? I drafted Jonathan Brooks. I got Deebo Samuel. So my squad's like screwed. So we've been picking up waiver wire options all across the board. This is one of my home leagues, and it's rough. It's rough in these streets. Zay, yeah, type out that team right now. Get to it. Let me know what I can do to answer and help. Element said, well, I wish I knew that there was a sub league. Element, so this is the thing. So I put out, this would have been probably, maybe 2-3 weeks before the season, like, hey, we're doing a sub league. And honestly, like, there was a little bit of lull. Like, we got to, like, 10 really quick, but we had, like, 2 spots open. And I knew a bunch of you guys who are always here on the live streams. I just think you guys weren't tuning in to the content yet. I was posting it on the community post and in my videos, but... definitely next year, dude. Let's get in next year. Element said, let me look at my team and see. Yeah, no, 100%. You guys give me some start sit questions. I know Element, you already asked one, I think earlier in a video, but happy to do any type of team reviews. Happy to answer any start sit questions. I got the rankings pulled up. We're about to have an absolute blast here tonight. And if you guys are here and you guys do have a question, make sure you hit that like button. It helps me out so much. As we're on the way to 3,000 subscribers, we are almost 200 away. And so super excited to see. Kind of want to hit that by the end of September. So I think we got it right in our sights, depending on how this next week goes. Taco, and Zay, you guys both sent those bad boys in at the same time. So you said, Zay, I got Jane Daniels, Brees Hall, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Brock Bowers, Jamison Williams, and Cooper Kupp. JSN, Jordan Love, and Lad McConkey, Mark Andrews on the bench. So before Cooper Kupp was injured, my team was fire, but not anymore. Yeah, so let's go through it. So Jane Daniels got a top 8 quarterback. That's what we love to see. You got Brees Hall and then Josh Jacobs. So we got a top-level running back and then Josh Jacobs I really love. Garrett Wilson and then Drake London. So your wide receivers really, with Cooper Kupp kind of going down, you're starting to feel a little bit worried because we haven't seen elite level value from Garrett Wilson yet. We've seen a little bit from Drake London. You got Brock Bowers. You got maybe the tight end one in fantasy right now. Jamison Williams and Cooper Kupp, JSN. Honestly, right now, Zay, the one move that I potentially would be doing with your team is trying to see if maybe we can leverage like a Mark Andrews and like a Lad McConkey, and can we go get you a wide receiver upgrade, or even like a Mark Andrews and Drake London and try to get you into like a Jamar Chase type range. I think that would be a deal that I'm looking to do with your team, Zay. I like it. Taco says 2-0, got offered Jamar Chase, Walker and Chubb for Kyron Godwin. Take it. Yeah, give me the Jamar Chase side. I think the Godwin hype has been good. Godwin has looked really good, but we do know once Jamar Chase is absolutely cooking, which granted it's a very slow start. We're very upset with it. With your team, I definitely going with that Jamar Chase, Kenneth Walker type. And I know you also got offered Tyreek and Chubb for the same, but I would still take the Jamar Chase side. So I don't know. Based on your team, yeah, you got that Kyron Godwin side. I'm 100% taking Jamar Chase. And the reason that I'm taking Jamar Chase and letting Kyron go is we're a little bit worried about those stacked boxes that are going to be happening for Kyron Williams now that there's no Puka Nacua, now that there's no Cooper Kupp. So give me that Jamar Chase side, Taco. Glad that you're 2-0. That's a move that I think solidifies here as you continue to go. Element says Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen. I know you asked me this last week, and I believe I was wrong because Josh Allen, even though it was a good day, it wasn't a great day. I have Jaden Daniels in my QB7. I have Josh Allen as my QB1 going up against Jacksonville this week, Element. So I'm rocking with Josh Allen this week. Roy, appreciate you being here. You said 10-team half PPR, Josh Allen, Tyreek, Tank, Rachaad White, Kyron Williams, Connor, Laporta, bench, Reed, Lockett, Brian Thomas Jr., Singletary, Jordan Addison. Who do I start? Yeah, so we're starting Josh Allen for sure. You're starting Tyreek Hill. In regards to wide receivers, yeah, I'm still starting Tank. I actually have Tank a little bit higher ranked this week, Roy. And then in your running back room, I'm going with Connor, and I'm going with Kyron. And then let's see, tight end. You're going with Laporta, and then assuming it's only one flex, I would. Who am I going with on the one flex? That's what I'm trying to decide right here. I will be going with Rachaad White over those options, even though it's really intriguing with Jaden Reed. But I think we wait until we get Jordan Love back there with your team. Schmidt, what's up, my guy? Good to see you, bro. Let me know if I can answer any questions for you guys. Roy said, also, who can I trade? If so, who can I target? Yeah, this is always, Roy, I'll be honest, this is always a hard question for me to answer because I don't know your league. I don't know the teams. I don't know like kind of like the pros and cons of each team. But like just generally saying this from your squad, I would say that you have pretty good running back depth. So I like that. I just think that wide receiver 2 spot. So if we could pair, and I think Jaden Reed and Tank potentially could do that for you. So I think if I'm you, I'm trying to pair guys like a Brian Thomas Jr. and someone maybe even like a Tank to get up to like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, a CeeDee Lamb, even potentially in a 10-team, like Tyreek Hill rest of season, since we don't know what's happening with Tua Tagovailoa, I actually have pushed him down to wide receiver 8, and I feel like I could push him down to wide receiver 10 realistically, but I don't think I can push him up any higher than wide receiver 8 at this current moment. So I think you can make the argument too that if you took Tyreek and let's say Jaden Reed and tried to get up to like an Amon-Ra St. Brown or tried to get into that like Jamar Chase category, which Jamar Chase feels risky because we haven't seen it yet. I think those are some type of moves that I'd be trying to look to do, Roy. But just trying to upgrade that wide receiver 1 spot and or get a better wide receiver 2. Smith said, yeah, dude, just so excited to see y'all. Mitch says, I got offered to receive Bijan and Rasheed for CD and Devon. Would you take that? No, I am holding CD and Devon. I think what we've seen from Devon, especially now with no Tua, we're going to have to see over the next, few weeks what this offense is going to look like. Whether they go out and sign a guy like Ryan Tannehill, I don't know. But I do know that CeeDee Lamb is right now, if you're talking like rest of season rankings, he's like probably the number one player in fantasy football. And Devon has probably somewhere sliding around like the 10th or 11th spot, where you have Bijan, who's probably like still 5, like 105, 104 range. And then you got Rashee, who I think is probably somewhere in the top 15. So I want the CD and Devon side. It's definitely a high-powered trade on both sides. I see that as half PPR, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. But give me the CD Lamb and Devon side, Mitch. But it is a good deal. Element said I started Daniels last week. Because Daniels last week was not the best, right? With only 13 fantasy points. But Josh Allen wasn't good either. He was like 9. So at least you won that one by starting Jaden Daniels. But this week I'm 100% starting Josh Allen. It was really more of like a fluke game in the way that they were scoring a ton of points, but there's a lot of rushing for James Cook. So excited to see that kind of switch back this week. Element said it was the better decision. You did make the right decision. And then you said Tyreek still without Tua. I still think Tyreek, like I said, is going to be my wide receiver 8 rest of season. There's nothing that screams to me that Tyreek Hill, we know he's an elite level talent. And so I'm not pushing him down the board to be like a wide receiver 2, nothing like that. I am just saying I'm a little bit worried about it rest of season because we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Because if it's Skylar Thompson, it's not going to be great, but there is a lot of potential going forward for these guys. Jeremy says, trade DK for Smith. So Devontae Smith pops off last week, mainly because there's no A.J. Brown. But Devontae Smith seemingly in this offense, 11 fantasy points, 17 fantasy points last week. So he had 11 in that first week. DK Metcalf, though, the one part that we do like about DK Metcalf in this overall offense is the fact that DK Metcalf got insane targets last week with 14. So if DK Metcalf can get 10 to 14 targets, which I know in week 1 he only had 4 targets, I think we're looking at DK Metcalf very similarly last week where he had 23 fantasy points. So I think it's a very fair deal. If I'm betting on one, I want the better quarterback. I want the better offense. And that to me is the Eagles. So I still have Devontae Smith, even though he's the 2 and DK Metcalf's the 1. I do have Devontae Smith a few ranks higher in my rest of season rankings. But I really feel like you kind of have to determine, Jeremy, your level of risk there, because I think DK Metcalf, his overall upside being the 1 is a little bit more, but I think Smith is safer, and we're seeing without AJ Brown, and we don't know how long that's going to last, kind of the advantages to that. So give me, personally, I'm taking the Devontae Smith side, but I think it's close enough that you can kind of debate it. So Elements, you said I have Jaden Daniels, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jamison Williams, Kittle, Tank, Dell, Browns, Aubrey, Ayuk, Josh Allen, Amari likely, and Puka and CMC on. See, that's the thing. You got a great squad. The Puka and CMC on IR is killing you right now, Element. So if you can ride this wave, you got a squad that is ready. That's ready to come back. And yeah, I'm right there with the Smith over DK Metcalf. MH says looking to acquire Jamar Chase in a buy low. I could offer Tyreek Hill. I have Dobbins, Stevenson, DK Metcalf, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, DJ Moore, and Chris Olave. Any ideas for a fair buy low? So yeah, MH, I think the quickest and easiest option for your team, I would love to keep Tyreek Hill. Like I said, rest of season, he is my wide receiver 12. But I would say that you can just offer Tyreek Hill straight up for Jamar Chase, see how that would work out for you. Because like I said, I still have Jamar Chase a lot higher rest of season. I know we haven't seen it yet, but that's a deal that I would do. You could potentially then, if you want to kind of like mess with some pieces and you want to keep Tyreek Hill, maybe add a little less depth, you could do something like a Chris Olave, Aaron Jones type move, or even like a Chris Olave, J.K. Dobbins move to try to get into a Jamar Chase. I think that's going to be a little bit higher. I think the Tyreek Hill, as much as that you would hate to do that, I would prefer Jamar Chase, knowing that we're tied to Joe Burrow rest of the season, than a Tyreek Hill with a Skylar Thompson, or even a guy like a Ryan Tannehill if they potentially sign him off the free agency. So MH, I would try to go throw some Tyreek Hill and see if you can make magic happen, especially before this next week 3. When we might see Tyreek Hill struggle and this whole offense sputter and everyone start to really freak out after this week. Smith said, I would take Smith over DK as well. Glad you agree, Smith. Zay says, my teammates are pretty harsh trading-wise. They don't see potential. Mark Andrews, what do you think I could package Drake London with to get a better wide receiver? So Drizzy Drake, like we said, right now is probably a top 20 player right now in fantasy, even though I'm still, like I said, Zay, I saw your team. Let me go back up to where you kind of put your team in. It's still If I were to pair Drake London, I would maybe do like a Drake London, Jameson Williams, or a Drake, because you got a lot, or even like a Drake London and a Lad McConkey. And if you can get up into even like a DK Metcalf with that, a Devontae Smith, or even a Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbors type, that would make me feel a lot better with this team. So, like I said, that's with Lad McConkey and Drake London. That's not with Jameson Williams. If you were going to put like a Jameson Williams together with a Drake London, I'd be shooting for like a Jamar Chase. That's what I would do, Zay. So those are some thoughts with your team. Like I said, guys, if you guys are here, hit that like button. I'm answering every start sit question this season. Once you guys here in the community that we are building. Element says, yeah, I'm 1-1 right now. Barely lost last week. So yeah, we're getting you to 2-1 this week. Smith says, I'm 2-0 with the most points. Sad to see Cup go down, but my team still looks strong. Jane Daniels, Hall, JT, Rice, Ayuk, Kamara, Kincaid, J Love, Godwin, Cup, JSN, Singletary, Henry. Yeah, you got 10 man. Looking good, Smith. Looking good. I think we're going to be looking at 3-0 after this week. You built a powerhouse. You said I took JT over Barkley in my draft, and I think it's coming back to bite me. I mean, we all make mistakes. We 100% all make mistakes in our league, but I'm saying this. I will take I still think JT has a ton of upside going forward. So I am excited for that. Guys, let me quickly, I'm going to answer the next start sit question. I'm going over. I accidentally turned on, I don't want this video monetized because I don't want you guys to have to watch ads throughout this thing. I want you guys fully here through the whole thing. So give me a second. Boom. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Next question. We got Element says, are we scared for all Cowboys players besides Aubrey? As a Cowboys fan, I'm panicking. I think there's a little bit of worry that once we get to the point of it's been CeeDee Lamb and Dak, like we didn't sign any running backs. You know, we're having a 3-level committee with Zeke, Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle. That scares me. We see Jake Ferguson go down. Brandon Cooks had his moments. Tolbert's had his moments. I don't think scared's the right word. I think I'm still in on CeeDee Lamb. I think the overall upside that maybe people thought that Dak had is kind of coming into play, that it's not that way. And then I think panic as a team potentially, but I think fantasy football options, we still have to feel good with Dak, or not with Dak, but with CeeDee Lamb. And then, I mean, if you have to force to start Dak, I mean, he's still a top 12 QB, but I don't think the high-end QB5 upside is there. Wolf says, start Kelsey or Bowers this week. Ooh, this is juicy. Well, I've become a Brock Bowers is tight end 1 currently in my macho in my thoughts. So what he is doing as a rookie level tight end is absolutely insane. So what I am saying is I 100% think we need to be considering Brock Bowers everywhere we can. So give me Brock Bowers this week, 100%. He's higher in my rest of season rankings. What he's doing is absolutely elite. Remind me a lot of like a Sam Laporta like ascension from last year, but honestly, it's kind of been better through the first 2 weeks. We really haven't seen a tight end have this many receptions and targets over the first 2 weeks of the season. So Bowers is looking pretty darn amazing. Wolf, you said I'm 0-2, might be able to win this week, but I have to face a juggernaut team next week, so probably going 1-3. Also trying to build an infinity gauntlet of wide receivers. Currently have Amon-Ra, Marv, London, Pickens. Yeah, just keep running. Just keep running with Amon-Ra, Marv. I mean, Amon-Ra has been struggling, but I think it definitely can bounce back. So I think there's a lot of exciting things that you can do here. Wolf, should I try to trade for A.J. Brown? I think A.J. Brown's 100% a great target to potentially be looking to trade for. I don't know what to, tell you to necessarily trade for with your team because you have like Marv and Amon-Ra, which I'm trying to hold off on. Honestly, if you could trade away London and a piece to go get someone like an A.J. Brown, or even like London and Pickens for A.J. Brown in a piece, like that's a deal, Wolf, that I'd be looking to do. Element says Cowboys, everything was extremely dominant last year. Yeah, everything. Whether we're talking about the defense, whether we're talking about, just the whole thing was awesome. So I am a little bit sad that it's not more, but that's kind of, we'll have to see if Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy and this whole Dallas Cowboys team can turn it around. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a ton of Cowboys because they haven't been all the time on Red Zone because that's what I'm watching, but hopefully over the next few weeks it starts to work out. Nino, appreciate you being here, my dude. Thanks for tuning in. Is sending Mike Evans and Rashid Shaheed an overpay for Garrett Wilson? At this current moment, I think it is. I think Rashid Shaheed, the breakout, I don't want you to sell too low because I feel like you're attaching him right now. And Mike Evans arguably is what, wide receiver 6? I mean, I think if you offered Mike Evans straight up for Garrett Wilson, that should be a deal. Like rest of season, that's very close. Like I'm not attaching a guy like Rashid Shaheed, which not that Rashid Shaheed's an amazing wide receiver for me. I mean, he's wide receiver 36 for me rest of season. It's been an absolutely amazing breakout. I think there's a lot more exciting things that we're seeing from Rashid Shaheed that should be translating to Chris Olave later down the line. But I'm holding personally for this overall package. So like I said, hold on. I like some Garrett Wilson. I mean, you see the jersey behind me. I realize I'm pointing the wrong way, but I have the Garrett Wilson jersey behind me, so I believe in Garrett Wilson, but I think at this point you got to just hold on to Mike Evans until we see more from Garrett Wilson. Fries, appreciate you being here, my dude. You said start Diggs or Henry. Ooh, that's juicy. That is a juicy one. So I honestly had the wide receivers for the Texans a lot higher this week. Fries, just so you know, but let me see. I got Derrick Henry as my RB9. So I have my overall player 15, and then I have Stephon Diggs. Where do I have him? Just so I can give you that little tidbit of information. Is he a little lower? Why am I missing him? Yeah, I have him all the way down at as my wide receiver 22 this week. So 100% be going with Derrick Henry. Fries. Assuming like this is me even looking at my PPR rankings. So go with Henry. Appreciate you tuning in, my dude. Want you here all season. Ryan McDaniel. Dude, what a photo. You are, I don't know if you're a business guy, but this is absolutely incredible. So you said, shout out to you being here on the channel. Want you here the rest of the season. And like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, answering all subscriber questions, so hit that subscribe button, building the best fantasy football community from the ground up. Want you guys here. Have Garrett Wilson, Marv, Kupp, Ayuk. What running back should I target? Only have RB2s. Which that is a major issue. And especially with Kupp going down, Ayuk kind of struggling. I understand kind of your predicament. The good thing is Marv showed a lot of promise. So we're excited about Marv for that. But I would say, depending on what running backs you should target, it just kind of depends on the depth. Like, I would hate for, like, let's just hypothetically say you're going to trade Ayuk for a running back. Like, that's kind of the one that I'm having. I'm holding on to Wilson. I'm holding on to Marv. And then you're, of course, going to have to wait on Kupp. So if we're like looking to trade away a guy like Brandon Ayuk, it's been a struggle because we're looking at guys like a Ken Walker for Brandon Ayuk. And then it kind of gets into like Brian Robinson Jr., David Montgomery territory. And then if you added on a small piece to Brandon Ayuk, we could potentially get into a guy like a Travis Etienne. But like we know, people love to hold on to their running backs. It's really hard to trade an overall running back. And so what I would just tell you is you either hold firm with these wide receivers and roll it out and just kind of continue this 0 RB strategy, or you kind of pair Ayuk to try to go get someone else. I'm not willing to risk it for Garrett Wilson. I think the Jets offense is starting to get, I mean, we saw what Marv could do last week. No one's going to be buying Kupp with his injury, so you're going to have to look at Brandon Ayuk. So I hope that helps you. Ryan, appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Throw those questions and we will be getting to all of them here tonight. Nino says, yeah, I kind of felt the same because I did start the offer straight up and he countered with that and just rather keep my 2. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you send your best offer and then people, of course, want to see what they can push to try to get more from you. I'm glad you held your ground. Just hold at that point. I would only do it if it was straight up. Smith said, Ayuk or Godwin this week with Debo out, Ayuk might see more. Now, when we're talking about Brandon Ayuk, it has been disappointing. Chris Godwin has I would say overperformed my expectations. But even still, this week, I have Brandon Ayuk down at my wide receiver 15. Chris Godwin, I have as wide receiver 10, which stinks because I traded away Chris Godwin in a ton of leagues. So I'm 100% starting Chris Godwin this week. Smith, appreciate you being here and tuning in. But I would trade away some Chris Godwin. Wolf said start Javonte or Zamir this week. Oh, I have Javonte. Who did I have in my video today? Let me double check. I believe I had. Yeah. I have Zamir ahead, but I had both Wolf. I have both of these guys as potential trade bait / if Zamir does not perform this week, Wolf, 100% chance that he's getting dropped this next week. Like, I don't know what to do with these Raiders running backs. I mean, Alexander Madison seemingly doesn't have the upside that Zamir does, but Zamir has absolutely sucked for fantasy football. So I'm going with Zamir this last time, Wolf. But like I said, it's really rough. It's really rough. Ross, appreciate you being here. You said, hey, Caleb, trade Jamison, Dobbins for Olave and Pollard. Ooh, this is juicy. This is a juicy one because rest of the season, I have Dobbins a few spots ahead of Pollard, but nothing crazy. And then Jamison Williams, as of course, shooting up the ranks for me. Now, the question's going to be your amount of risk that you're going to want to take, Ross. But let me just give you like a good example of kind of where I have these guys. So rest of season, we got Jamison Williams, and my rest of season rankings are actually coming out. I've been putting them out every Friday, so you'll see this. So like rest of the season right now, I have Jamison Williams as wide receiver 29. I have Chris Olave as my wide receiver 13. Even though the performance hasn't been great for Chris Olave, I'm expecting a lot bigger things going forward. Now, in regards to my running backs with J.K. Dobbins and Pollard, we have Tony Pollard as my RB21, and then we have J.K. Dobbins as my RB24. So it's very close there too. If I'm taking the side, I want the Olave Pollard side, but I also understand that if J.K. Dobbins this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers can absolutely dominate, we're looking at J.K. Dobbins shooting up the board even more. But in this current moment, knowing what we've seen the last few games, give me some Olave and Pollard over the rest. Nino says, but also got sent another offer, just don't know how I feel about it. He wants Godwin and more for Tyreek. Like I said, I'm probably holding on that. I think Chris Godwin, if we're looking at rest of season, Tyreek, like I said, goes down to my wide receiver 8, and Chris Godwin is right around like wide receiver 18. Now, DJ Moore, we haven't seen anything amazing, so it's wide receiver 23. So it depends, Nino, on like the depth of your team. But for me, I'm personally holding the 2 players because especially after what we've seen with this injury bug that's currently hitting the NFL, if I have the starting pieces, like if I could do that deal, Godwin and Moore, and I know I'm getting a bona fide top 5 wide receiver, sure. But with Tyreek Hill, as much as he's maybe the most talented wide receiver in the NFL, I just cannot bank on trading away those 2 pieces for Tyreek Hill. But, appreciate you tuning in. Giants, 1995, excuse me. Should I be patient with DJ Moore or trade him? So I think DJ Moore, like we said, this is continuing to be an interesting player that we're debating. I think if I'm you, I'm continuing to be patient because I don't know what else you're going to be able to trade away for him. So I would be patient with DJ Moore. There's a lot that we need to be thinking about going forward with this Chicago Bears offense. I'm being patient. If you're looking to trade DJ Moore, I don't think you're going to be getting what you're going to want to get for DJ Moore. I mean, can you trade DJ Moore for Zay Flowers, even a Debo who's injured, or a Stephon Diggs? I don't think so, and I think that's similarly where I have him ranked. So I would just kind of hold unless you can get one of those guys, Giants. Element said, really nice photo. It was a really nice photo. Shout out to, who were we talking about? Not Ross. Ryan. Ryan had a really nice photo. Yes, I'm glad everyone's agreeing. That was a nice photo. It was so professional. I just appreciated it. As a businessman myself, my professional photos there. Now I have just a graphic on YouTube, so didn't look as nice as that. Element said, should I drop Amari Cooper for Rashid Shaheed? Oh my goodness, Element, you are coming in with all the like interesting questions and dilemmas that not that like I'm having currently, but Amari Cooper has been absolute cheeks. Like it's been terrible. But I still have Amari Cooper rest of season rankings higher than Rashid Shaheed, so I don't think I'm at that point. But if we get to this week and we get another one of these like stinker games, and we've had triple stinker games in a row, I don't know how I can tell you not to drop Amari Cooper. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching Amari Cooper watch here. Smith said, Element, do you not have anyone else to drop? Yeah, dude, Element's team is so stacked. It was hard for me. I think sometimes, Element, you sometimes get in the way because your team's so freaking talented. You sometimes overthink with that team, but I think you're in a good spot. Jaime, appreciate you. You said, what's up, Caleb? How's it going? Thoughts on this? Chase and Mason for CeeDee Lamb. Well, I think the longer we get away from CMC, we're looking at Jordan Mason at least being an RB1 for the next, 2 to 3 weeks, if not longer, even when CMC comes back. So CeeDee Lamb is still my clear wide receiver 1. Rest of season, I do have Jamar Chase still sliding in as my wide receiver 4, especially with all these injuries. And I know it hasn't been great for Jamar Chase, so you're a little bit worried about overall performance. But I will be saying I will be holding on to the Jamar Chase and Mason side, unless you have crazy depth at running back that I'm not aware about, where, you have, the fact that you have Jamar Chase means probably RB2 in the second or third round. I'm just saying, I'm holding on to the Chase and Mason side, Jaime, but I do think it's a fair offer for the person trying to get CD late, but I'm not tearing down off that. Element says, not really Ayuk, Josh Allen, Amari, likely Jordan Mason, 49ers, and CMC. Oh, yeah. See, but you got such a good squad. I think you could debate that Element. Like, I see the upside because you do have such good depth, but currently I still want to roll out Amari Cooper one more week and see what he can do going forward. Wolf says 10-team full PPR, 2 flex. Kyler, Jordan Mason, Zamir White, Javonte Williams, Braylon Allen, Jalen Wright, Chase Brown, Chubb, Carson Steele, Amon-Ra, Marv Pickens, London's, D. Johnson, Alad, Kincaid. Yeah, do I need to aim for better running backs? And if who should I aim for? Yeah, it's not great. Not great knowing our running backs. I think the thing that you're so stacked at the wide receiver position that it's hard for me to say, like, to pair 2 of these running backs together, because I'm worried about, like, someone to even get a tier up. You're probably gonna have to give away like Jordan Mason and like Javonte. And that probably doesn't even get you to where you're going to really want to be able to get. Because if you give away like a guy like Jordan Mason and that gets you to maybe like Ramondre. Like, that doesn't get you to like a Travis Etienne or like a real game changer at the running back position, Wolf. So I'm most likely just holding. You can try. Like I said, the worst thing you can do is get told no. So definitely go try to get told no. But that's it. Like I said, guys, I realize I'm falling behind on these questions, so I'm going to speed up and start answering as many as I can. So appreciate all y'all for tuning in. He said, I'm so sad I couldn't get Braylon Allen from waivers this week. He got taken ahead of Shaheed Smith. Oh, my goodness. LeBron's come home. Said, hi, man. 0.5 PPR. Trade my James Cook for Tyreek Hill. Also trade my Brian Thomas for Xavier Worthy. LeBron's come home. So 100% the second deal. Give me Xavier Worthy over Brian Thomas. I want to be in this Mahomes-led offense, especially with no Hollywood Brown. I don't think people realize the upside that's going to give Xavier Worthy rest of season. Now, in regards to James Cook for Tyreek Hill, that's a little bit more interesting because, like we said, we got Tyreek Hill getting pushed down to our wide receiver at 8. I have him right now around overall players 16 rest of season, which just feels absolutely abysmal. But like we said, we don't have any idea about this Tua situation, so I'm being hesitant, but I'm also giving enough upside to that. Whereas James Cook right now slides in as my RB8 rest of season, and I have James Cook as overall player 13. So LeBron's come home. I would do the deal for James Cook, is what I'm trying to say. 8-man league. Who should I target at running back? I have Devontae Adams that I'm willing to move off to make it happen. My running backs, Cook, Pacheco, Ford. Yeah. So if you're trying to trade away Adams, we're going to be looking at rest of season. I'm assuming this is full PPR. If we're looking, yeah, it's hard. We're looking at guys like potentially like a Josh Jacobs, a Kyron Williams, a James Conner. Those would be guys, Jaime, that I'm trying to target. Element said, is Braylon Allen supposed to be good? Never heard of him. Is he still available? So he is the backup running back to the New York Jets, to Breece Hall. I liked him as a prospect. Now, he didn't get amazing draft capital. Got only 4th-round draft capital to the New York Jets. Now, he did get a lot of work last week, especially in garbage time. Did have that pass-catching touchdown as well as had that 20-yard run. So he's not taking like goal line work from Breece Hall or anything like that. I think a lot of us just saw that the Jets were really good at running the ball, and they've kind of struggled to throw the ball to an elite level volume like we've seen. We haven't seen Garrett Wilson absolutely emerge yet. So I think he's good. I picked him up in a few leagues, but I don't think it's absolute crazy hype on him. And then you said, should I trade Tiger Woods for LeBron? Right now I'm taking LeBron over Tiger Woods. Element. T.I., M, appreciate you being here. You said Gibbs or Garrett Wilson in full PPR. It's so hard. I don't know if this is rest of season or this week, so I'll answer both, T.I., just so you know. This week in particular, I will be going with Garrett Wilson over Jahmyr Gibbs in full PPR. I mean, the targets have been there for Garrett Wilson. We just haven't seen the performance, and I think David Montgomery's been eating into a ton of carries for Jahmyr Gibbs. I have Jahmyr Gibbs as my RB6 this week, and I have Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 7 this week. So I'm going to give the lean to that. But if we're talking rest of season, because I don't know if this is rest of season question or if it's like a this week question, I'll answer both for you. I'm still taking Rest of season, where do I have Jahmyr Gibbs? I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs rest of season over Garrett Wilson. So this week, taking Garrett Wilson, rest of season, I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs. Hope that helps you, T. I appreciate you being here. You said, yes, bro, Element, what's needs your middle class at this point? You guys are too funny in the chat. PJ Nasty, appreciate you for being here in the stream. You said, my team is AR, Brees, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra, Nico Laporta, Martin Harrison Jr., DJ Moore. Any moves? I mean, the only one that I can think of is potentially upgrading your quarterback spot. And the way that I would do that is just trying to tier up from Anthony Richardson, which he's already there. But if I could get into a Kyler, a CJ Stroud, a Lamar Jackson, and I'm giving like a small piece, I don't know what your bench looks like past DJ Moore, but if you got another good piece like that, like a lesser DJ Moore that could get me into a Kyler Murray, I'd feel a lot better about your team going forward. Not that I don't like Anthony Richardson, not that I don't think he's going to have amazing, season, because 27 points in week 1 was pretty nasty. That's the only thing. You got such a good team. I want the floor at quarterback to be consistent, even though Anthony Richardson does have upside. So honestly, you probably don't have to make any new moves, PJ Nasty, but that's one that I would potentially be thinking about. David says, should I trade Dak and Waddle for Burrow and Pickens? I would take the Burrow and Pickens side. I think you're getting the better quarterback, Burrow over Dak, even though it's been a struggle for the Bengals. And then I think Waddle like I said, it pushed Tyreek Hill down in my rest of season rankings, down to wide receiver 8. Waddle gets pushed down even farther, down to wide receiver 21. And so I feel like the George Pickens rest of season for me is wide receiver 26. So, of course, Waddle still beats out Pickens, but it's close enough in the wide receiver 2 range that I want the better quarterback. And that, to me, is going to be Joe Burrow rest of season. Appreciate you, David, for being here. John, I love to see you here in the chat. You said, if Love comes back this week, should I start him over Goff? Also need to flex one between P. Ryan, Addison, and Mostert, 0.5 PPR. So if Love comes back this week, I'm a little bit worried about his mobility. So I do still have Jared Goff ahead. Now, I think it'd be better for the whole offense. It's better for my Jaden Reed shares if Jordan Love comes back this week, but I think he probably waits another week. So I think you're going to be going with Goff. And then in regards to the flex between P. Ryan, Addison, and Mostert, I would go Addison, but I read today a report that it's pretty clear that Addison's not going to play this week, just based on some of the beat reporters and the way that he's been practicing. So it's between P. Ryan and Mostert for me, and I'd be going with Mostert just because the Miami Dolphins are absolutely going to have to be running the ball all the game. Theo said, yo, what's up? Do you prefer Deshaun Watson? I love that you did that, and I understand why you did that. That was a good play on words there, Theo. Shout out to you. Or Bo Nix this week. Ugh. I think you're going with Deshaun Watson. The rushing upside's there, and this Broncos team has absolutely been struggling. So go with Bo Nix there, Theo. Appreciate you being here. In Dynasty, yeah. Do you prefer? Yeah. In Dynasty, I still prefer Deshaun Watson over Bo Nix. Nino says, I know you just said as much, but do you think Debo's a few weeks is closer to 2 or 3 or like 4 to 6? I think it's 3, Nino. I think that 3 weeks for sure is where I have Debo rest of season. Unruly Drip, appreciate you being here. Absolutely means the world. Thank you so much. You said need running back wide receiver available to trade JSN and BTJ. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would say JSN and BTJ. Looking at my rest of season rankings right now. Need running back wide receiver available to trade JSN and BTJ. If you could trade both of those guys for like a James Conner, that'd be something that I'd be interested in. Not that I think you're going to be able to get James Conner for both of them, but I think if you need running back help, that would be a move that I'd be looking to get. And there's not really a whole lot of other moves that I'd be looking to do. So, but that's unruly. I hope that helps. Yeah, James Conner would be a guy tearing up into another wide receiver. Could I get into like a Stephon Diggs? Even getting up to like Malik Neighbors for both of them. Those are 2 deals that I'm kind of doing. Sorry, unruly Drip. I know it's always hard to trade questions just off generalities, but that's kind of what I am thinking. Jaime says, Caleb, where would you have Jordan Mason ranked rest of season if CNC gets the call for being out rest of season? Yeah, if he's out rest of season, I mean, I already have him up Jordan Mason as my RB18. He probably slides in as my RB9, RB8 if CMC is out. So it's a pretty big development either way. Kashish, appreciate you. I probably just totally bombed your name, so sorry about that. But like I said, guys, if you guys are tuning in, answer every start sit question once you guys here in the community rest of season. We got Drake London for Dobbins as a trade, which is a good move on both teams. I think someone needs a running back. You could definitely see them go in that direction versus, Drake London, which is what we've seen. If I'm pulling up my rest of season rankings, I'm going to have Drake London ahead of J.K. Dobbins. But I think this week for me with J.K. Dobbins versus the Pittsburgh Steelers and that front could change a lot for me on J.K. Dobbins' value. So in this current moment in week 2, I'm going with Drake London. But if J.K. Dobbins absolutely bursts through the Pittsburgh Steelers front 4, front 7, I think we're definitely looking at J.K. Dobbins moving up the rankings. So right now, you'll see that in my rest of season rankings dropping on Friday. Camden says, got Stroud, Gibbs, Ramondre, Etienne, Chase, Nico Collins, Waddle, McBride. Would you trade Ramondre for Henry or James Conner? I would do either of those deals right now, Camden. So 100% go trade some Ramondre for Henry or James Conner. I think that's major dub for you. Thanks for tuning in, Camden. Once you hear rest of season. Jaime said, yes, full PPR. Tried getting Kamara, no luck. But yeah, thanks for your suggestions. I got similar answers. Jacobs, Conner, Mixon, healthy. Yep, I think those are all good guys to target. Braden, appreciate you being here. Should I accept this trade, giving Tua and Kincaid for Anthony Richardson and Mike Gesicki? My current quarterback is Baker Mayfield. So you get a major quarterback upgrade, but you're losing out on Dalton Kincaid, who's going to be a top 4 tight end. Now, Dalton Kincaid is an interesting one because he hasn't performed up to this point this season. I mean, Dalton Kincaid, definitely like rest of season rankings. He's got 1 point and 5 points. I'm still a Dalton Kincaid believer, Braden. I understand the worry. And thinking, hey, I'm getting an elite level quarterback. And Mike Gesicki looked really good this last week. I think someone's trying to sell high off Mike Gesicki. I think with T. Higgins coming back eventually and Jamar Chase eventually going to take more of the target share, Mike Gesicki role actually lowers. That's kind of my biggest worry there. I would say I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold your Tua and Kincaid side. And I'm going to roll out just Baker. And I think Baker should do good enough for you rest of the season. Because I don't want you to give up that, to be scrambling to find tight end help rest of season, Braden. Element, you said, I also need to know if I should try to trade Serena Williams for Messi. We're talking prime Serena Williams. I think I might take her. But Messi's been such a player. You might have to just pick some Messi. Scorpio. Like I said, guys, I need to catch my breath here. We are over here absolutely killing it. If you guys haven't hit the like button, hit that like button. It helps me out so much. We go, should I trade CeeDee Lamb for Tank Dell, Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, and Brock Purdy? Should I trade CeeDee Lamb for Tank Dell, Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, and Brock Purdy? 100%. Give me the volume side here. Now, it depends on your league format, depends on your league settings, but I'm 100% using Tank Dell, Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, and Brock Purdy going forward. Brendan says, trade Devontae, Neighbors, and Jacobs for Nico Collins and Jahmyr Gibbs. I have Olave and Rashee Rice already. Trade Devontae, Neighbors, and Jacobs for Nico Collins and Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, it's hard because Malik Neighbors has looked absolutely elite. I think for me, I'm going to be going with the Nico Collins and Jahmyr Gibbs side. I want elite level assets there, Brendan. So give me the Nico Collins, Jahmyr Gibbs side. T.I. says, should I trade BTJ and JSN for Ayuk and Tank Dell? Should I trade BTJ and JSN for Ayuk and Tank Dell? I would take the Ayuk and Tank Dell side easily. Ti, that's the deal. That's the side that I want to be a part of. Shaiwan, appreciate you being here. Like I said, I'm falling behind on questions, so I gotta speed this up. But I appreciate all you said. Trade Andrews for Higgins. I think after what I've seen the last few weeks, I'm personally wanting to hold on to the Andrews, especially with T. Higgins and all of the worry there. But give me some Andrews. I want Andrews side, especially with all the hamstring issues that are continuing to plague our boy. Let me go. Let me make sure I got everything set up right. Yep, cool. We got Amari for Waddle. I will take Waddle. I'll take the upside shot on Waddle, even with the bad quarterback play, knowing that we haven't seen anything from Amari up to this point. Justin says, so I have three wide receivers in the flex. Can't figure out who to play as I have 4. I have Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Terry, Demarcus Robinson, Jordan Addison, and Darnell Mooney. Justin, so if you're playing 3, you're starting Mike Evans, Nico Collins. And then I think Jordan Addison's going to be out this week. So I think you're going to be going with Scary Terry, which is scary, and Darnell Mooney. But in the case that Jordan Addison is playing, I would play Jordan Addison. And then I would play Demarcus Robinson as my 4th. Hope that helps you, Justin. We then have Nino says, would you give Ramondre for Xavier Worthy or Waddle? Running backs and wide receivers are currently Bijan, JT, Ramondre, Ford, Kupp, Devontae Smith, Diggs, Godwin, and Brian Thomas. Yeah, I honestly, with this team, Nino, I know you lost out on Kupp, and I know Xavier Worthy sounds good, but I think by the time Kupp probably comes back for you, you're going to want these running backs. And like we said injuries are crazy. So if you have healthy running backs, you feel good. I know you probably feel good with Ford being your RB3, but I want Ramondre on my team. I think it gives you more flexibility, Richard said, what's up, bro? What's up, dude? You said start 2 between Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Ramondre, or DK. I will be going this week with Mike Evans, and then I will I know it's between DK and Ramondre for me in my flex rankings. So I just want to double check here for you before I tell you the wrong answer, which I was. It's going to be Ramondre. So I'd be going with Ramondre and Mike Evans this week, but I'm glad that you still have depth, and I'm glad you have options because some of us do not. Cato says, should I trade Nico Collins, Breece Hall, and Goddard for Jamar, Aaron Jones, and Laporta? Should I trade Nico Collins, Breece Hall, and Goddard for Jamar, Aaron Jones, and Laporta? Full PPR and 1 point for first downs. No, I want the Breece Hall and Nico Collins side 100%. I feel like the Laporta, you get the advantage at the tight end position, but like we said, we haven't seen that yet. And so, Cato, I don't want to be buying high on Laporta here at this current moment when I think Breece Hall and Nico are going to be way better for your team going forward. Appreciate you being here. Jay Will, appreciate you, my guy. Good to see you. You said full PPR. You said Hurts, Breece, Monty, Devontae Adams, McLaurin, Ferguson, Jameson, D-Hop, Mostert, Dottle, Braylon Allen, P. Ryan, Pacheco. Any moves you would like to target? So full PPR, yeah, team is Hurts. I think the only move that I'd be trying to make is can we get a better wide receiver right now? I think that's what's killing your team. Devontae Higgins, McLaurin. So can we pair 2 guys to kind of tier up slightly? That's a move that I would be doing, but otherwise I'm definitely going to be holding on these guys because you do have some healthy options. But yeah, Ferguson being down definitely hurts your team. So I wonder who you're kind of flexing there. But Jay will appreciate you. Luke T, yo, what's up? Caleb, do you think I should try to buy AJ Brown or do you think this will be more a lingering injury? I think he's probably going to be out another week after this week. I know they said like 3 to 4. I kind of doubt that. He was pretty close to playing even this last week. So I think they're just being very cautious with him and it got tight. So I'm personally going to be buying, but you do you and how long you want to wait and what type of asset you want to do. But I would 100% be holding on AJ Brown. Isaiah said, in a growth spot for my second flex position from injuries, who do I start full PPR? Tobert, Yoshi, Josh Reynolds, Tutu. Ooh, this is rough. I think T. Higgins plays this week, so I think Yoshi out. Josh Reynolds, I'm not super high on, so it's really between Tolbert and Tutu for me. And honestly, I'll give the way to Tutu because I think Tutu, with no Cooper Kupp and with no Puka Nacua, he has proven that he can be pretty elite. Not elite, but pretty good in the flock. So I would go with Tutu Atwell. Thanks for tuning in, Isaiah. Mervin says, someone dropped Garrett Wilson. Should I pick him up for 100%, Mervin? Pick up Garrett Wilson. Easy. Go get Garrett Wilson. That's crazy. Go get Garrett Wilson now. Element says, I'm going to cry if CMC is out for season. So will I. I will lose my subscriber league, and a lot of y'all are going to be laughing at me. Wolf says, is Kenneth Walker a buy? He is with that injury. Coming back, we saw elite level upside from him. I know Zach Charbonnet's look good, so whoever's the one in that Seattle Seahawks offense, give me some Kenneth Walker. I think that is a really good buy for you. Jaime says, thoughts on Jordan Winnington, worth a stash, just seen his stock rise and outbeat Tutu in depth chart as wide receiver 3. So I know I just said to start Tutu in that last start sit. I think him and Jordan Winnington are definitely going to be fighting for it. Jordan Winnington looked absolutely great in preseason, but we haven't seen anything great since. I think this depth chart is wide open. So I think the best players that are going to produce on the field on Sundays are 100% going to be producing on the field. So I'm 100%, I think stashing Jordan Winnington is super smart for you, Jaime. I think I know your team's pretty stacked, but yeah, I think you should definitely stack some Jordan Whittington if you have the room. Wolf says, is Pacheco a buy? I'm currently not buying Pacheco. I think he's going to be out most of the season. Brendan says, glad your live man got a lot. I need your input on. We'll fire those bad boys away. We will be answering every start sit question here tonight. So I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Eternal says, who you grabbing in a non-fab waiver wire, Josh Downs or Mooney? I'm personally grabbing Mooney over Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs is super talented. I just think we're talking about a Colts wide receiver room that has Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, you got A.D. Mitchell, and then you got Josh Downs. And Darnell Mooney's really only competing with Drake London. I mean, you got Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson too, but we saw Darnell Mooney look pretty good last week. George Play says, for this week, start 2. Non-PPR, DJ Moore, Flowers, JSN, and JMO. Ooh. In non-PPR. We will be going, let me pull up. So JMO's definitely going to be one. Definitely going to be starting some good old JMO, and then we'll be doing Zay Flowers. George, Zay Flowers and JMO would be my picks for your overall lineup. Then we got Richard said also start Hunter Henry or wait for Ingram. Yeah, that Ingram screwed a lot of people over this last week. Just seeing him get the call that he was out like an hour before kickoff made a lot of people scramble. I personally think Evan Ingram's going to be out this week, so I think you're just going to be going Hunter Henry anyway. But I would say Hunter Henry would be the way that I go, Richard. Brennan said, first, I did some wheeling and dealing to make up for Cup. You sent McLaurin for Likely, Carr, and Pierce, then turned Likely, drafted Brock and ETN into A.J. Brown or Ramondre, ready to get another check. Brennan, wheeling and dealing is what you did. I got ads, not a big deal. Okay, well, goodness gracious. YouTube, shout out to you. Rock said, my bad, team 1-1. QB, Murray, Goff, RB, A-Chain, Walker, Warren, Davis, Harrison, Hill, Rice, J-Mo, McLaurin, Addison, Shakir, Goddard, Likely. No, rock out. I know you're 1-1, and you probably feel like this team isn't great, but I think you just continue to. I mean, you're gonna have to write it out here. I don't think it's the worst thing. I think you got Murray at quarterback. You got Devon and Walker. Walker comes back healthy. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. be elite. We're just a little bit worried. You got Hill too and Rice, like JMO. Like we feel good. It just happened for you in whatever week you lost. Camden, who are the guys you have ranked around Ramondre rest of the season? I'm looking for an upgrade. Yeah, so rest of season over Ramondre Stevenson. We're looking at guys like I do have like CMC, which could be a risky high level upside option if you want to risk it for the biscuit. I have a guy like a Derrick Henry, a few spots ahead like Travis Etienne, James Conner. Those would be some guys, Camden, that I would consider for Ramondre Stevenson rest of season. Brendan says, second, full PPR, pick 3 wide receivers in a flex. Pickens, Reed, DK, JMO, Mike Evans, Jordan Mason. Pick 3 in a flex. We're going to go Mike Evans. We're going to go DK. We're going to go JMO. And then we're going to go Jordan Mason. That's who I would do, Brendan. As well as ETN, question mark. Camden, what did you say? Who are the guys you have ranked around? Yes. Oh, as well as ETN rest of the season? I mean, James Conner, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, CMC. Very similar. I have them pretty closely ranked rest of the season, Camden. TI says, tank or Pickens rest of season. Ooh, we're all in the rest of the season, guys. This video is coming out on Friday. Make sure you tune in. You get to, highly recommend you do that as well. Like to look for trade options because you can kind of see how I value these guys. I do have George Pickens 4 spots ahead of Tank Dell rest of the season, but it's close enough that if you prefer one over the other, I would not hate you on that. Brendan says, Camden, Ramondre gets so many times. I'm believing in him this year. Hold him, flip ETN. Okay. Brendan might be disagreeing, but the Jacksonville Jaguars offense has looked pretty bad. Sheik said, someone offered me Tyreek Hill for Brandon Ayuk. Should I do it? I think that's one that I'm doing. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Like I said, I have Tyreek Hill as my wide receiver 8 rest of season. When we're looking at where I have Brandon Ayuk rest of season, I have Brandon Ayuk as my, what is this? Wide receiver 17 rest of the season. So I have him about like, doing terrible math. Wide receiver 8, wide receiver 18. What did I say? Wide receiver 16? 8 spots. I have an 8 spot difference between them, so I'm taking the Tyreek Hill side. Guys, I was a marketing major, not accounting. So no one judge. Element says, I really wish the Saints could have prioritized Taysom Hill. Well, we thought it would eventually happen. It just hasn't happened Hasn't happened yet. Luke says, should I try to sell DJ Moore or do you have hope? I think I have hope this offense gets better. Do I have hope that DJ Moore returns on the overall value that he had? Probably not. So if I can get out of DJ Moore for Stephon Diggs, Zay Flowers, even potentially trading, I know Deebo Samuel's out for a little bit, but even trading for a hurt guy like Deebo Samuel, which I never love to tell you guys to do, even a guy like DK Metcalf, those are deals that I'm trying to do, Luke, to get rid of DJ Moore. Unruly says, thoughts on P. Ryan and Steele. So I think Kareem Hunt's going to be the one to lead this backfield. I don't think that's consensus. I think this week for sure, Steele. I think it's going to be Steele this week. If Steele has a massive week where, I think Steele definitely takes the job. But I think Hunt, they brought in Hunt because they're a little bit worried about Steele and P. Ryan. I think P. Ryan has the third down role on lock. So I really think that early down work is going to be between Steele and Hunt. I think Hunt ends up taking it over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Element says more ads. You know what, Element? Goodness. Blame the tube. Blame the tube. Richard says, one more question. Zamir White or Carson Steele, PPR, you're the man. Appreciate you, Richard. You're the man. You're the man because you came in here with all the questions. Man with a plan. So I'm personally going with Zamir White. I think Carson Steele, as much as it's great, I have him at RB35 this week. So RB28 is where I have Zamir White. So I'm going with Zamir White. But like I said, it's risky on both accounts for both players. Jaime says, should I start Kincaid this week despite the terrible game script yet again, or try to get someone off waivers or trade for Hunter Henry? I'm starting Kincaid. We just got to keep putting our elite level tight ends out there and hope for the best. Rockout says Purdy versus or go with Carr until the wheels fall off. Yeah, another great question. Derek Carr has been absolutely electric. I'm personally going with Brock Purdy against the Rams, and that might be a mistake because good old Clint Kubiak is looking like an absolute wheeling and dealing machine for the Saints. But I am a little bit worried about this Philadelphia Eagles defense versus him, so I'd be going with Brock Purdy, who I feel like has a lot better matchup versus the Rams. Element says, how are we feeling about Alec Pierce? I feel like Alec Pierce with A.D. Mitchell and with Josh Downs returning, feeling a little less about him, but he is a deep threat, and so I think he still has that upside. It's going to be hard to play him on a week-by-week basis, Element. Fry said, start JSN over Diggs. As a Hawks fan, I want to start JSN. Well, after what we saw last week, we're talking 15 targets. My man's finally broke out. You see the jerseys behind me, Fries. You know I'm a little bit biased as a homer. I'm still starting Stephon Diggs over JSN. I have Stephon Diggs as my wide receiver 20. I have JSN as my wide receiver 23. But if you got conviction in your heart, go with your conviction. That's what I would tell you. Go with JSN over Diggs if that's how you feel. But I do have Diggs 3 spots ahead. Snag 2K. Appreciate you tuning in, my guy. Should I have CMC, Cup, and Debo injured? Do I make a trade? I mean, I think you're probably going to have to. Depends on who you're starting in your lineups. But I will say it just depends on who you're going to be able to actually get. I don't know what your team looks like. So that would be a question. If you want to submit your team, I can kind of give you a little bit more in-depth analysis. But it depends on if you have a ton of depth, you might actually be fine to write it out. But CMC, like we said, it's going to be out next. You're looking at all these guys missing at least the next 3 weeks. So you risk it for the biscuit. Chuba said, trade Kyron for Debo and Lazard. Running backs are Jacobs, B-Robs, Brooks, and Steele. No. I know you feel good about your running backs, but especially with Debo being out and Lazard not being anything special, I'm 100% just keeping Kyron Williams there. Mind. Appreciate you being here, dude. Thanks for checking in. You said, what up, Caleb? What do you think about Waddle? Thinking Waddle ain't waddling. He ain't doing his little waddle dance. I think we're looking at Jalen Waddle. Rest of season being somewhere around wide receiver 20 to wide receiver 21. Tyreek Hill's around my wide receiver 8 rest of season. So if you can trade him before this week, preferably, and people get to see how bad this offense potentially might look with the moment that we see the backup quarterback go out there, and unless he lights it up and is like the second coming to Brock Purdy, I think there's going to be a lot of nervousness. And so unless they bring in a guy like a Ryan Tannehill over the next 2 weeks, that's the only way that we're really going to feel like Jalen Waddle's value is going back up. Or we get some news that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be back this season. Jaime says Steele might get goal line carries because he's also their fullback. That's true. I do think I'm a little, like I said, I think the explosion from Steele, like I understand he can get like 2 to 3 yards a carry is kind of where we're looking, but I am a little bit worried like rest of season, how this kind of splits all work out between Steele, between Samaje Perine, and between Kareem Hunt. Joshua, appreciate you tuning in here. You said, should I trade David Montgomery for A.J. Brown's? My RBs would be Saquon and Najee. 100%, Joshua. If you can get me some A.J. Brown for David Montgomery, do that deal in a heartbeat and run. I want some David Montgomery on my team, Joshua. Appreciate you tuning in. Want you here all year. Sober Money says, hello, I'm in a dynasty league. I'm in a weird spot. I have Mahomes, Tua, Carr, Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gibbs. Should I be looking to sell off my older guys? Yeah, I mean, in dynasty right now, I think this is the time, like if you're not seriously competing sober, that you want to get out, that you want to trade your elite level assets that are old to try to get younger. So whether you can trade them for picks, whether you can trade them for young guys with upside, that's what I would be trying to do sober, 100%. Camden says, would you trade Chase and Ramondre Etienne for Garrett Wilson and Jonathan Taylor? Would you trade Jamar Chase? Ooh. It depends on how you view Jonathan Taylor. I think that's the real question in this question, Camden. And so, like, rest of the season for me, I have Jonathan Taylor as my RB7. And then, like we said, with Ramondre and Travis Etienne, like I have Travis Etienne as my RB11. So, but then Garrett Wilson and Jamar Chase are a little further back for me. So honestly, if I'm you, I'm probably keeping the Jamar Chase, Ramondre Etienne side. As much as you see the jersey, there's a little bit of bias for me with Garrett Wilson, but I do want the Jamar Chase side. Jaime, I appreciate you as always. Hurts seeing Carr ball out, but love seeing he's turned into 2016 Carr again, especially with how insane Kubiak. It's insane. And I think that's why I keep telling you guys to keep buying into Chris Olave, because Chris Olave just continues to demolish week in and week out. So 100%. Love to see it. Element says, okay, that's 3 ads. You hates me, but for some reason I was instantly able to skip it. Well, Element, glad that's happening. Yeah, I think even when I turn monetization off, like for myself, it still has monetization on YouTube. You know them. Soul says, I'm 2-0 AST. What will Mason finish for you in rankings this week? Mason will finish. I just actually put out the video. So if you want to go tune into that, you will be able to see it. But I have Jordan Mason in my top 6 running backs this week. So excited to see Jordan Mason ball out again. Nino says, I'm about to pull the trigger like this second. Ramondre for King Henry. Yeah, give me King Henry. Pull the trigger. MDHDHD, what's up, bro? How you doing? Doing good tonight, man. Better than now that you're here in the stream. You said I'm in a couple sketchy situation, bro, and I always love your input. Can you help? Yeah, fire those bad boys away. Snag 2K said I have CMC, Debo, and Cup injured. My running backs are Stevenson, Taylor, and Mason. Wide receivers are Ayuk and Rice. Should I make a trade? So your running backs are Stevenson, Taylor, and Mason. Wide receivers are Ayuk and Rice. I honestly think you can hold. I think this is one of these weird circumstances, Snag, where you drafted such a good team. We can kind of level out this storm. I don't want you to do anything crazy with the team. The fact that you still have Rice and Ayuk, I feel very good about, and we're just going to wait until Debo and Cup come back, and hopefully CMC comes back, and you're able to absolutely have crazy amount of depth, MDHD, so appreciate you. Bro, someone just dropped Jared Goff. Wolf, go pick him up. So I have CMC and Mason. Hold CMC, 100%. Hold CMC unless you can get an elite level asset, which I don't think you're going to be able to do. Like I said, rest of season rankings for me, we're still feeling like you still have to have CMC decently high up there. Like we have him right now as our RB14, so right around the guy like James Conner, Travis Etienne, Ramondre. So if you can get someone like that, that's the only reason that I would trade away a CMC. But otherwise, I am holding. Get off my PF, okay? I need to help. How can I trade Rashad White? I have Brian Robinson, James Cook, and Ramondre, but no one wants White at all. How can I get rid of him for a player? So a lot of people don't want some Rashad White. Don't blame him. I think what's happened is Bucky Irving has like really kind of dug into these carries. And so we're looking at Rashad White falling down rest of season rankings for us all the way down to our RB22 rest of season, which isn't great. So what we're going to have to do to get into a better running back, like let's even say like a Kenneth Walker or a Ramondre, a Travis Etienne, is you're going to have to attach a piece. So you're going to have to do like a 2-for-1 type deal. Otherwise, you could get out of like trade Rashad White and try to get into a guy like J.K. Dobbins, who has a higher upside, but has lesser of a floor. And you're a little bit worried about that situation going forward. But those are some deals. Get off my PF. Hope, let me know if that helps and if I need to answer that any better. MDHD, you said my team is Carr, Daniels, Mondre, Barkley, Javonte, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we're freezing up. Sorry. What's happening? We still here? Let's go. Subscribed on 1-1. Do I make a move for a flex or ride with Coleman and Javonte? I think you're riding with Coleman and Javonte, unless you compare like two of those guys together. That's kind of my thoughts here. So MDHD, good team though. Mervin, should I try to trade Ford for Swift full PPR? In my rest of season rankings, where do I have them? I'm realizing there's a little bit of like my system. I need to update my computer, guys. And I'm sorry. I should have done it before stream. I didn't, and I think I'm paying the price now. So bear with me if there's a little bit of lag. I'm personally going with where do I have? Personally going with DeAndre Swift rest of the season over Jerome Ford, especially with the fact that we don't know what Nick Chubb's splits are going to look like when he comes back. So I would do that, even though it's been terrible for DeAndre Swift here over the first few weeks. Or do I make a move for like a dude like Chase or a bit less like Olave? I think you could definitely do that with your team. I mean, you're not going to give up Coleman and Javonte. You're going to have to give up like a Devontae Smith and like a Coleman to get to probably even a guy like an Olave. And at that, I'm probably just holding. You're going to have to give up a ton to get to a guy like Chase. So with your team. So I think you just kind of wait it out until Puka comes back, MDHD. Element said, I'm fine with a couple of seconds of ads. Yeah, I appreciate that, Element. It's I just double checked. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, sorry for the interruptions. Camden says, do you think Ramondre and Waddle for Derrick Henry if too rich, the same team I'm offering two had James Conner as well? Do you think Ramondre and Waddle for Derrick Henry if too rich, the same team I'm offering two has Conner? I like, honestly, rest of the season, I kind of like James Conner a little bit more than Derrick Henry, but they're literally back-to-back for me, Camden. So, Element said, I got 4 Eagles fans on my random fans team. I can't escape these people. Element, you're so funny. We got, Steven, let me get to this. I missed the super chat questions. Oh, we got 2 super chats that came in, and I totally missed it. Apologies, guys. Steven, do you have a question, or did you just send in a chat? Let me see. Here we go. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate you tuning into the channel. You said we got start Waddle, McLaurin, Jaden Reed, and Amari Cooper, Demarcus Robinson, flex Najee Harris, Singletary, or one of those wide receivers. Tua might get hurt. Tua might hurt me a little bit. Yeah, that'll hurt me a little bit too. So right now, if I'm starting this week, I'm assuming it's start 2 and 1 flex. So I'm starting out of all these options. I think we do still start Jalen Waddle. This is a rough spot, Steven. This is a rough spot. We're like Waddle, no QB. McLaurin hasn't performed. Jaden Reed with no Jordan Love. Amari Cooper's been zeros. And Demarcus Robinson, we think's the one. So, and then flex Najee Harris or Singletary, one of those wide receivers. Yeah, we'll still do Waddle. I think we do Waddle and Jaden Reed. And then we do Najee Harris in our flex. That's what I would do, Steven. Man, you're in a rough pickle spot, Steven. But that's 100% what I'm doing. So appreciate the 5, brother. Definitely let me know. I can answer that a little bit deeper too. But yeah, thanks for the 5. Always here to help any way I can. Oh, that's a rough spot. Steven, you're in a rough spot, bro. You're in a rough spot. Mind, appreciate the 5. You said sold Waddle advice. You are the man. What do you think in trade value for Waddle? Something like Olave, Ayuk, Zay Flowers. I mean, if you can get any of those guys, honestly, any of those guys, Waddle, I'm 100% taking that, running to the bank. Now, I have Olave and Ayuk higher than Waddle in my rest of season rankings. I have Zay Flowers like right there. And so I think having Zay Flowers tied to Lamar Jackson, a better offense, makes me pretty excited for Zay Flowers, but 100%. I think that is fair, appropriate value for all those guys. Like if you want me to give you like some more like just like ranges of players in the same range as a guy like a Jalen Waddle, we would be looking at like, J.K. Dobbins, Brock Bowers, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, Zay Flowers. Like those would all be guys, mind that I would be okay trading away with. Appreciate the dubs from both Steven and Mind Hayes. You guys are absolutely the best. Absolutely the best. Thanks for supporting the channel. MDHD said, I also got offered Chase and ETN for Barkley and Devontae. I don't think I'll do it. However, I want to trade for someone ASP without moving off my starting lineup much till Puka comes back. Yeah, I'm 100% holding Barkley and Devontae there, especially with what we've seen from Barkley. Hold on to that top 4 running back rest of season. Soul said, trade CMC and Flowers for Pacheco and Laporta. Trade CMC and Flowers for Pacheco and Laporta. Personally, I want the CMC and Flowers side. CMC will come back before Pacheco, and then Flowers is actually performing, and neither is, and we haven't seen it from Laporta. So give me the CMC and Flowers side. Steven, you are an absolute beast, my friend. Appreciate you. I always forget. Is it Steven or Stefan? I feel like we've went over this before, and I'm blanking on it on a Wednesday night, and I need to get it. I'm just going to write it down because dude, you support the channel so much, and I'm forever like dubs. Like this is literally how I feel at all times. Whenever I see you even just comment on a video. Rockout says injury team QB Purdy Carr Tua. Oh goodness gracious, we are cooked. Are we cooked? Rockout, you are playing with who is healthy. That's your start state question. Who is healthy? That's the question. Rockout. I think you're gonna make it good enough team to kind of see what's gonna happen going forward. Wolf says Carson Steele for Cup. Thoughts? Personally here, I want Cup. I think there's going to be too many questions with Carson Steele, Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine. So I would be going with Cooper Kupp personally. That's who I would be going with. Element says, we love the $10. We love you guys. You guys support the channel super well. Like I said, I don't do this for the money currently. We make I think with YouTube monetization, every video, I make $5. So we are honestly doing this for the love of the game. And you guys are the love of the game, so subscribe. Because this is all for the love of the game. Cameron says, if I attach London to Rashad White for an offer, which RB should I try for? If I attach London to Rashad White. Yeah, so if you're attaching Rashad White to London, we should be able, even though Rashad White has been sucking, we should be able to get, that should be able to get you into the Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson type category for me. That's kind of where we're shooting for. Let me make sure. Bruno, appreciate you being here. You said you just got offered Pacheco and DJ Moore for London and Swift. Pacheco and DJ Moore for London and Swift. Would you take it? I already have Neighbors, Harrison Jr., and Lamb. Personally, I'm not taking this. I think Pacheco, by the time we get Pacheco back, it's going to be week 13. I think that's kind of where week 12, week 13, it's not going to matter. DJ Moore has been kind of struggling. London, for me, is the best player in this asset, and then you got Swift, who's healthy. And so I'm personally holding the London and Swift side. Glad you have Neighbors, Harrison Jr., Lamb. Love to see it, Bruno. But I'm holding London and Swift. MDHD, appreciate you being here. You said, thanks, bro. Low-key in a sketchy situation since the Puka injury is in a really high-stakes league. Hard to trade Coleman after week 2, but I trust him. Appreciate your advice and attention as always, bro. Yeah, dude, appreciate you. Thanks for always coming in and supporting the channel. Appreciate all the questions I can answer for you. Soul says, start Pollard, Kirk, or D. Robinson at flex, and Dak or Stafford. Personally, I'm starting Pollard this week over. I need to see this Jacksonville Jaguars offense start to get off to a better spot than the last 2 weeks, and we will be starting Dak. Matthew Stafford's been balling, but Matthew Stafford doesn't have any type of Puka Nacua and or Cooper Kupp to throw the ball to. I mean, it's a decent matchup, but I'm 100% starting Dak over Stafford this week. But like we said, I think a lot of people. I like Matthew Stafford versus San Francisco if he had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, but since he doesn't, Dak has a little bit better matchup. Doesn't really have a better matchup because he's going up against Baltimore, but at least he has CeeDee Lamb to throw the ball to, is how I kind of view that. So next question, we got Helus. Appreciate you being here, my dude. You said trade Mason for Aaron Jones and Jameson Williams. Ooh, now this is a juicy one. And Helos, this might depend on your overall team, but I'm personally probably going on the side of, I'm probably doing it. I'm probably trading Mason, who, if we're assuming that this is like a 3-week move, I think Aaron Jones potentially is less in my rest of season rankings, but Jameson Williams, we're talking about a top 24 wide receiver. I think this is a fair offer, Helos, but I think I'm personally going with the Aaron Jones and Jameson Williams side. And you said you're starting Geno. Okay. Quarterback, I see what you're saying. And Dak or Stafford, I started Geno. Okay. Yeah, I would go with Dak. Anton said rest of season running back Josh Jacobs or Kyron Williams in half-point PPR. We put out our rest of season rankings last week. We've made a little bit of adjustments, but I'm personally going with Josh Jacobs rest of season in half-point PPR over Kyron Williams, which is crazy after what we saw last year from Kyron. Like, did anybody kind of expect this to happen? Nope. But and then you said, by the way, I didn't ask you between Coleman and Javonte, who do I start? I'm personally starting Javonte, but both feel pretty risky at this point. Hilo said trade Mason for Aaron Jones and Jameson Williams. Oh, Hilos, I think I already answered this for you above, didn't I? Yeah, go with Aaron Jones and Jameson Williams. You said I got Jamar Chase to start in my other wide receiver spot. Bro, love to see it. I think Jamar Chase, like honestly, when we're talking about Jamar Chase, rest of season, wide receiver 5. I'm calling it now. I think the Jamar Chase breakout game happens this week, and I think going forward, dude's playing for a contract. So we got a lot of exciting stuff for Jamar Chase going forward. Joseph, appreciate you being here. You said Amon-Ra, Waddle, Zamir White for ETN, Kyron Williams, Jameson Williams. I lost Pacheco, and I have Nico and Connor. Personally, for me, this is an interesting trade because Amon-Ra St. Brown's the best player in the deal. But you're getting 2 elite level running backs plus Jameson Williams, who's top 24 wide receiver. Waddle is like wide receiver 20. So you're giving up wide receiver 3, wide receiver 20, and like RB 31 for RB 11 and 12, and then wide receiver 24. I think, Joseph, we haven't seen the best from Amon-Ra St. Brown, so it's hard for me to say that, especially with boxes going to be stacked against Kyron. Travis Etienne's playing for a struggling offense, but Jameson Williams has been outperforming Amon-Ra St. Brown up to this point. So I think it's a fair deal. If you want the depth on your team to look better, I think you go with the right side. If you feel like I know you say you have Nico and Connor, but if I want the overall upside, I do want Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it's a fair deal. I'm personally probably in your spot. I'm probably taking the Etienne Kyron side, but it just depends on how you view Amon-Ra St. Brown. Element, dude, your support and comments is all I need. He said that fact I only got 50 views for a video. I got a couple of very loyal views. Element, yes, that's true. We got to get the loyalty. That's the biggest thing. I want y'all to support the channel. We'll be creating a community here soon, where we can like all hang out. But until that moment happens, we're here in the YouTube comments. Joshua says 10-man PPR: Lamar, Saquon, Najee, Amon-Ra, Wilson, McBride, and DJ Moore. Bench AJ Brown, Elliott, Ty Chandler, Amari Cooper. Should I make a trade for another running back? So wait, Saquon, Najee, Ty Chandler, Braylon Allen. I mean, you probably should, but I don't think anyone's gonna like what if you offer. You're not going to trade away Najee and Saquon. So if you offer Elliott and Amari Cooper to go tier up to somebody, like, you're not really getting anyone good. So you're probably going to have to wait until a week like Amari Cooper pops off. And then can we trade away Zeke and Amari Cooper to get us into like a David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard type? Like, that's going to have to be the deal, Joshua, that we're looking at the future for. Soul said, I was down 1 last week and I had London last play of the game. London touchdown for the dub. Well, I was down. I was losing by 0.15 last week, and then Kirk Cousins kneeled twice, and my opponent lost 0.2, and I ended up winning the game. So very similar, Soul. Good to see we're both winning at the end of the Falcons game. Rock says Pickens, BT Day, Shaheed, pick 2. This week we will be going with Pickens for sure, and then we'll be going with Rashid Shaheed over BTJ. Jay says start Ramondre Stevenson or Tony Pollard. Also start Rashid Shaheed or Mark Evans. We will be going with Ramondre Stevenson and Mike Evans. Jay, too nice. Appreciate you being here. Once you hear all off season, I said off season. We're answering all start sit questions all season. So if you guys want to tune in, we put out a video today with running back rankings. I answer all my comments on my videos. I answer all start sit questions here in the streams. We stream 2 to 3 times a week. So definitely want you guys all here rest of the season to help you win your fantasy football league. Really tough one here. Should I trade CMC for Kamara? Give me Kamara, Element, 100%. Give me Kamara. Can't wait on CMC. We got to win some weeks. Soul said, should I sell Zay or he'll be good? Assuming you're talking about Zay Flowers, I think Zay Flowers will be decent. I mean, rest of the season, like I said, I don't have him anything higher than a wide receiver 2, but if you can sell him off for like Stephon Diggs, sell him for like Brandon Ayuk, I would do it. Even otherwise, like you're looking at like a Deebo Samuel, George Pickens territory and like guys around him in rankings. So I'm probably just holding on to Zay there, Soul. MH says, would you trade Tyreek Hill for Chris Godwin and Tony Pollard? 100%. Give me the Chris Godwin, Tony Pollard side. Chris Godwin's absolutely been balling. So I feel like you tear down a little bit at Chris Godwin, and then you get that running back advantage. Especially like we said, with all these injuries, we 100% want to be taking advantage of that, and we want to be targeting the depth at this point in the season. I like to get elite level studs, but Tyreek Hill, we don't know when Tua Tagovailoa is going to be coming back. So pick up Schultz or Freiermuth because Ingram might not play, or Gesicki. I would go with Gesicki, like on a 1 week sample. That's who I would do over Schultz and Freiermuth. Kincaid, J2 says Kincaid or Goddard, which shouldn't even be a question, but it is a question because Kincaid's absolutely been cheeks. But J2 we will be going with Dalton Kincaid. I'm ready to get hurt again. I have him as my tight end 6, Goddard as my tight end 9 this week, but it has been absolutely abysmal for Dalton Kincaid. So how much longer can we wait and have him harming our teams? Soul says, haha, Kirk's kneels it and you won that lot. Yeah, it was crazy. Roy says, if there are 2 specific wide receivers and running backs you would target for, who would they be in a 10-man? Thanks, Brody. Yeah. In a 10-man, we just put out like a trade video, Roy, a few days ago. I mean, there's like Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson would be guys. Trying to think of some other wide receivers right now that I like rest of season that I guess are kind of buy lows. Malik Neighbors would be a guy. DK Metcalf. Those would be guys. And then at least in running backs, I do like some of these running backs that have fallen, like a Travis Etienne, a Kenneth Walker. I know he's coming off injury. Like those would be 2 guys that'd be looking to target that I think could definitely boom and get a little bit of a buy low opportunity on. MRC says, should I trade Kamara, Hunt, Terry M, Jake Ferguson for Puka? Should I trade for Puka? I have JJ. Yeah, 100% MRC. This is one where like you're trading trash for like an injured player. And for me, I want the side of Puka because I think the upside's going to be there later on in the season. As much as what Puka might come back like week 6 to 7 is kind of where it's projected right now, I still want that side for Puka. And I think your team's going to be able to withhold. Sure, my dude, what's up, bro? Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. Let me know what start-sit questions I can answer for you. But like I said, guys, we are answering all start-sit questions here tonight. It's been an absolutely great stream, and we're going to get this party continuing to roll. So I want to answer any start-sit question that you guys have. Absolutely fabulous that you guys are all here. Soul said someone just traded Kamara for Godwin and Devon. Someone just traded Kamara for Godwin and A-Chain? Yeah, that's huge. Give me the A-Chain and Godwin side. 100%. Jaime said, I might lose my mind if Kincaid doesn't get going. So far, I'm 1-1 with him in my lineup. Starting to feel Josh Allen doesn't like Kincaid. I don't know if it's that Josh Allen doesn't like Kincaid or if it's the fact that the team's just taking away Kincaid because he's the number 1 option. And like James Cook, as much as he is the number 1 option, they're able to get him the ball out of the backfield and be a little bit more creative with him. I think Dalton Kincaid eventually gets it going. I mean, he had it going last year. I know there was Stephon Diggs kind of taking away some of the coverages, but it has to easily be, I think it's got to get going at some point. That's just my opinion. I think it has to get going for Kincaid. So yeah, continue rolling him out there. Sure, says I need a flex and wide receiver and running back. Zach Moss, Moore, Thomas Jr., Swift, McConkey. So we got flex and a wide receiver and a running back. So I'm going with DeAndre Swift as my running back. I am going with DJ Moore as my wide receiver, and I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr. As my flex. And we will leave Zach Moss and McConkey out to dry. And then you said, sorry, I haven't been active here, starting new job. Shout out to the new job, dude. No, bro. Feel free, like I said, if you watch the videos, feel free to comment under any of them, and I will make sure I answer your start-sit questions there if you can't make the streams. Soul said, who would you rather, Cook or Mason, and Garrett or Evans? So I personally would want Cook over Mason, and then in between Garrett and Evans, I personally want Garrett Wilson. Jaime said, it's either Joe Brady or Josh Allen that's ruining Kincaid's momentum. Yeah, it's one or the other. we'll have to see. Like I said, I think it eventually gets going. And sometimes we overreact. It's only been 2 weeks of fantasy football. You can start to make a lot of like adjustments, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that we can kind of learn and kind of start to take advantage of over here the next few weeks. Element said, I just got offered Amari and Ayuk for Garrett Wilson and Neighbors. Was this quality, or am I doing too much with the team? And should just, yeah, I would just leave it. I want Garrett Wilson and Neighbors here 100%. Appreciate you. Element? Yeah, sure. You're awesome. Terrence, appreciate you being here. You said, who do you think, what do you think of Henry, Ertz, or Ferguson for tight end, and Carson Steele, Judy, or Jennings for flex? So in regards to flex, this is one where I'm risking it with Steele this week. I want to see, I know they just signed Kareem Hunt, but I do think Steele's going to be the number one guy at least this week. In regards to Henry, Ertz, or Ferguson for tight end, I will be going with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, he's kind of on a little bit of a heater. And so we'll have to see what and I guess heater is a relative term because he had 2 points in week 1, but 14 points against Seattle. The Jets kind of struggle against tight ends. So give me some Hunter Henry, Terrence. That's who I would be going with. Appreciate you tuning in. Soul says, who would you trade, Kirk or Deontay, for? I need them off my team. Well, Deontay, with no Bryce Young, we're feeling pretty risky. And Kirk, with this offense absolutely puttering and stuttering, I mean, if you could pair both of those guys to trade them for like a Puka Nacua who's injured, a Jaden Reed who doesn't have a Jordan Love, or even like a JSN or Cooper Kupp, like those would be moves I'm doing. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it done. So it might have to be like an Xavier Worthy type that I would trade those two guys for. Sure. Appreciate you, bro. Jaime says, you think Bengals will turn it around? Any chase to go off? Yeah, I think they're always off to a slow start. I expect better and bigger days for Jamar Chase going forward. Oh, you said I didn't mean offered. I requested a trade from. Oh, yeah, 100%. If you requested that, do that. I just think that's probably a lot that they're not going to be willing to do, but that's the side that I 100% want. So, yeah. Who do I have winning tomorrow night? Well, man, I've been head down in content making. So I haven't even like tomorrow is time, when I would look. I mean, I think it's got to be the Jets. I think, but it just feels like this Jets offense has been sputtering and sputtering and sputtering. So, like I said, I think it's got to be the Jets, but I think we'll have to see going forward. Like I said, guys, if you guys have any more start-sit questions, fire those bad boys away. We're probably getting to like the 10, 15-minute mark before we end the stream. So I want to make sure I get everyone's question answered. Been a really good stream. So I appreciate all of y'all for being here, participating in the chat. It means the absolute world. I don't know how my internet's doing. I feel like my internet's sputtering in and out. So hopefully it's being okay for all y'all. So feel free to fire away some questions. And then Soul says, my friend bid $20 fab on Algier. I mean, I think it's not terrible. I mean, as the RB2 for this team, we'll have to just see what ends up happening here over the next few weeks with the Bijan Robinson splits. Let's answer some more start-sit questions, and we'll get out of here. We have, what did Element say? I've probably asked enough by now. Oh, no, dude, keep firing away. Keep firing away. You're killing it here in the chat for me, so I appreciate you. NMB said, what running back would I be able to get with Mason? Also, you think Fields plays rest of the season, and if he'll do better in fantasy? I do think Fields starts rest of the season. I think he will be better for fantasy. So I love that for you. What running back should you be able to get for Mason? When you're looking at rest of the season, like I said, it's hard to rank Mason because we don't know how much longer he has as a starter before CMC comes back. We know it's going to be a few weeks. Like if you could get Ramondre, Derrick Henry, or Kenneth Walker for Jordan Mason, I think that'd be a huge dub for you, NMB. So that's kind of what I would be looking to do. So let's see. Next question. Nino, congrats, bro. The king is home. Boom. Making trades on stream. That's exactly what we like to see. Major moves. Soul says, nice trade. Yeah, that was a good trade. I think Soul said, my kicker is like my second highest score last week in week 1. Yeah. it's crazy. Like I had some teams where the defense was super, super hot. I've saw some other teams where, yeah, it's just been, it's been a crazy fantasy football season. Like every year we make content. It's like, oh, like these are the players that I think you guys should get. And then all of a sudden, like week 1 happens. It's like smack, like reality checks in. Nino says teams looking nice with Purdy, Bijan, JT, Smitty, Diggs, Andrews, Henry, Ford. Yeah. Oh, team's looking good. You got the guy one on the bench, but he's probably like starting over Diggs. Huge, Nino. Cammy Fairbairn. Yes, he looks so good. He was good. He was so good. Appreciate y'all in the chat hyping each other up. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. You know what's crazy? Someone actually disliked the stream. I literally have 38 likes and 1 dislike. Who the heck disliked the stream? We're answering all the questions we can. So hopefully I'm helping you. Brendan says, rank these rest of season full PPR. JMO, Cup, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, DK, Jaden Reed, Pickens. Rest of season, I would go, well, let me pull the rest of season rankings up. Sure, I can give them for you. I would go AJ Brown, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Jameson Williams, Pickens, Reed. Don't ask me to repeat it because I won't remember the order, but that was the order, Brendan. I think AJ Brown's still the one. Then it's Mike Evans. That's how I currently have it. Nino says, whoever's left in the live that hasn't liked yet, drop it before you leave. Yeah, drop a like, helps the boy out so much. We're grinding, guys. We are honestly, like, when I started this channel, crazy last year, like we're on the way. We are getting there. We're getting to the point where we're trying to, like I said, we're almost like 170 subs away from 3,000. Like that's the goal. So we'll probably hit that here in the next like 2 weeks. But appreciate all you guys for all the hype and for always hyping me up. Soul says, rate my team: Dak, Geno, Evans, London, Zay, Cook, Evans, Ingram, and Pollard. Evans, London, Zay, Cook, Evans. Yeah, I give this a B plus. I'm just worried about, I know you got Evans, and you got Cook, which is great. I think I'm just a little bit worried about like wide receiver options behind Evans. I mean, London's look good, so I don't want to like overreact. And I guess you got Zay too, but I would like a better wide receiver 2 sold to just like solidify this team. Element says, who could possibly not like this stream? Element, there's people out there, bro. There's people. I actually had someone today, and this is like, I'll get to all the questions that you guys have, but I know it's like pretty OGs here. They literally were like, this is the worst advice I've ever heard. You have a huge head. Like, guys, I got called big head all throughout elementary school. So it's not like a new joke to me, but I'm like, bro, we're like 20-year-old people, like 18 to 25-year-olds. Like, we still got to make fun of people making content. We still got to make, it is what it is. But I do have a big head, so I will fully address that and hit that head on. Jaime said, the disrespect on Brendan Aubrey, so much hype. LO's been killing as my kicker. Yeah, dude's been knocking him down. The new league Justin Tucker. Brendan said, whoever disliked the stream, your moms. Yeah. Shout out from the rooftops, bro. Shout out from the rooftops. Nino says, wide receivers are super solid, though. So, yeah, no, I know I told him to, like, get a better wide receiver, too. But I just think that's, like, that would help the overall upside of your team. So, like, week in and week out. Element said, I got to go, man. See you. Thanks for the advice. Thanks, bro. Thanks for being here. Can't wait to see you start getting sponsorships. Yeah, Brent, I mean, we're already sponsored by Underdog. So, like, I have that in all my streams. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. Just trying to give good advice at this point. Nino says, I know you got the super chats on, but I don't know if you get the YouTube membership thing set up, but you should definitely look into it for the season. Yeah, Nino. So this was, just so you guys know, like, this is my thing. Like, I'm trying to give as much away right now, as I can on YouTube, because I'm trying to build the biggest following. So one of the ways that you grow is by answering all your comments, is by being interactive. And I know that's why a lot of you guys are here. Eventually we will be looking at, like, once we grow, how can I make sure, once we get to the point where I it's not realistically possible for me to answer every start sit question anymore, we would definitely might look at like what would a membership look like? What would like a Patreon, something like that, whether I build out my own website or something, but like that's so far in the future. Like, I'm not even thinking about money, like anything like that. Like, I want you guys to to be able to be here, have fun, hang out, support the stream, just interact, because that's the biggest way we're gonna grow. And more than money, like I want to just grow this channel. So I appreciate all y'all for your advice and for tuning in and being here. Sure says you have JJ and Chase is my wide receiver too. Sure, bro. What a squad. What an absolute squad. What an absolute squad. Soul said, someone in my league has K9, love Keenan, White, Ferguson, and AJ Brown injured. Yeah. Whew, a lot of injuries there, Soul. I've been dealing with it too on a lot of my teams. Yeah. Wishing you that things get better. Get out of here. Leave the stream right now. I'm just kidding. You're demolishing me in my subscriber league, dude. It's been it's been brutal. What's your record? Like I said, I've almost like just turned off notifications because of how bad. What, you're 1-1? Okay, I see you. Like, goodness, that CMC pick did me in. The Madden curse / the 101 curse screwed me there with CMC. Nino says, for sure, and yeah, that makes sense, Caleb. Would definitely be around and spreading the word about the channel, my guy. Great advice. Appreciate you, Nino. Appreciate you and for all the support. Appreciate all y'all. It means the absolute world. Michael, appreciate you tuning in. Legendary picture, my guy. You said, would you trade Najee and BTJ for Rome and Aaron Jones? Personally, I am holding Najee and BTJ there. But now I say that, and I said that, and then I'm like, where do I have Najee and Aaron Jones in my rest of season rankings? Let me pull it up. Sorry, my Wi-Fi just went a little berserk there. How close do I have Rome and Roman BTJ? I'm honestly, I'm taking it back, Michael. I'm actually doing Rome and Aaron Jones. I know I have BTJ ahead, but it's not close enough. I prefer Aaron Jones over Najee Harris. So 100%, bro. Thanks for tuning in. We have, and you said sure says I'm still 1-1. That's what we like to see. Absolutely making it and breaking it. Slapasky said starters: Keenan, Henry, Brian Robinson, CD, Nico, McBride, Devontae Smith, Marcus Robinson, bench T. Higgins. Are you making trades with my roster? This is always a hard question to answer, but like just off the rip, the fact that the biggest question is you have really great wide receivers and you don't have like high end running backs. Brian Robinson's great. Derrick Henry is at RB12, but can we get a better running back? Can we take a T. Higgins, and potentially like, I know so it's 2 flex with Devontae Smith and Demarcus Robinson. I feel like I want to hold T. Higgins. I feel like I'm cool having my RB2 spot being kind of weak, especially with our Brian Robinson producing really elite level fantasy football value over these last few seasons. So I wanted to say to make a move. I mean, I might do some like fringe stuff, but there's nothing serious that I'm looking to do. Because otherwise I think we're getting rid of some of the advantages, Slapasky, that your team has. But appreciate you being here, my guy. Means the absolute world. Steve, it has. It's been a super intriguing first 2 weeks. So many injuries, so much that we just can't control. Slapasky says 12-man PPR, 2 flex spots, $60 buy-in. Yeah, no, 1-1, third pick, snake draft. I think you did good. I think you got a good enough squad that you shouldn't be worried. Like I said, that RB2 spot's the only thing, but I feel like you're going to have to give up your advantage as a great wide receiver, and I just don't want you to do that. NMB said 12-team, full PPR, Purdy, H.A. Warren, Chase, Debo, McBride, Rice, Deontay, bench, Braylon, Chase B, Quorum, Watson. Trade suggestions, not looking good. Well, yeah, I agree. It's probably not looking good because Debo's hurt, Chase is underperformed, but you do have Rice, and you do have Deontay Johnson, but we feel... And this is NMB. This is the issue that when you start off super slow, you want to make all the moves in the world to potentially enhance and project and help your team. But the worry is if I tell you to trade people, you're probably going to have to give up 2 for 1. You're going to have to give up depth. And that's like the number one thing that's going to kill your team. So honestly, I'm holding this for 1 more week. It's not looking good, but we're banking on, can we squeak out a win this week? And can we regroup and see if we can hit a waiver wire darling next week, NMB? Otherwise, I think we're going to just really, really, make this team dry, and I don't want you to do that, NMB. Soul says, my friend put up 207 last week, and someone put up 240. Major scores. major scores. Element says, I like that profile picture. Michael. Brendan says, grade my team full PPR, Superflex, quarterbacks, Kyler, Anthony Richardson, Carr, Brees, Cook, ETN. Okay. Brendan, grade my team. Full, like, goodness gracious. AJ Cup, Mike, like, who'd you draft with? Brock Bowers? I see like tight end 1, wide receiver 1s, running back 1s. You got 2 elite quarterbacks and Superflex. Bro, this is an A. That's an A. Element, get out of here. He said he was going to leave like 20 minutes ago. Dude's been hanging around. Appreciate you. Brendan said, where can I approve? Probably the only way is like to add Justin Jefferson, and you're going to have to trade away too much for me to do that. But I like your team. I really like your team. It's absolutely great. Michael says, start 2 this week if my trade doesn't happen. Najee, Cooper, BTJ, full PPR. It's going to be Najee for me, and I still have Cooper a spot ahead of BTJ, but Michael, I don't feel great about it, especially with the last 2 weeks. But we got to have hope that Cooper eventually gets it going, and it's not just the Jerry Jeudy show over there in the Browns situation. Spankus says, I need to help him in a PPR league, and I'm wondering if I should trade Kyron Williams for St. Brown. Please help. Spanks, I'm 100% trading some Kyron Williams for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown 100% every day of the week in full PPR. Do it. Soul says, yeah, do it. Yep, you're doing it. Go get that deal done. That's what we want. Sure says, who would have thought HN was for real? Should I hold Jalen Wright and those types? I think right now, like, I've liked Jalen Wright as an absolute stash going forward. So I would personally hold Jalen Wright, unless there's someone absolutely amazing, sure, that you should have. Spanks says, I need help. I already answered that. Yep. Good point. Cool. Brendan says 8-team league. By the way, you know what, Brendan? I don't care if it's an 8-team league. I don't care if it's a 12-team league. That was an absolutely amazing team. Soul says, isn't Jalen Wright hurt right now? I believe is he hurt, or did he just not play? I forget. Did he get hurt in the last night's Thursday night game? Am I forgetting? I mean, I know we got Raheem Mostert coming back this week. Let me double check. I'm looking at. I didn't see any injury news. I think he had the bigger role. I mean, it's Raheem Mostert that has been hurt. That he'll be coming back. So like Jalen Wright is going to get pushed down the depth chart, but yeah, not worried. And it'd be, bro, appreciate you being here. Thanks for always asking questions. Always good. Spank says, my baby. Thank you. My dude. Want you here rest of the season, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Sure says, makes sense. Voice of reason. That's you guys are all smart football players. That's why you guys are here watching content on a Wednesday night. But I do like to be that guy that you can bounce ideas off of. Yeah, boy. Actually, let's Brendan, on that note, good night, y'all. Let's win some chips. Brendan, let's win some chips. Full PPR. Should I drop Xavier Legette for Kareem Hunt? Give me some Kareem Hunt, especially with Andy Dalton in this offense really starting to struggle. Only one wide receiver, like Deontay Johnson's really the only one worth holding for me. And then I want the upside shot on a running back in this Kansas City Chiefs offense. NMB said, I traded Godwin and Goff for Amon-Ra. Running backs are Mason Bijan, wide receivers, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Cup, QBs, Fields, and Minshew. LO, I don't care how bad QBs are. It's fun. Well, and Fields is like a top 10 QB on a week-by-week basis. So, NMB, you're in a good spot. Sure says, why are you high on Thomas Jr.? Like this week, or you mean like rest of the season? Honestly, I feel like I'm not that high on BTJ rest of the season. I have him as my wide receiver 36. Like, I'm taking Puka Nacua over Brian Thomas Jr. rest of the season. If we're talking about this week, over here burping. Sorry, apologies. I honestly I forgot to bring in water to do this stream, so we're over here running on a dry throat. This week, I have him as my wide receiver 31 in my wide receiver ranking. So I don't feel like I'm that high on him. I forget who you asked about in your start sit question that you asked. Sure. I don't feel like I'm that high. I'm looking back. I forget which one I answered, but it's okay. Thoughts on the boy, your boy. Thoughts on Tyreek Hill rest of the season. I have him as wide receiver 8. So I'll definitely be putting out my rest of season wide receiver rankings a little bit later on. But I really feel like I'm worried about this quarterback play, your boy. Honestly, worried about it. Unless they bring in a guy like Ryan Tannehill, that's the only way that I see things getting better. I still think he'll perform with whoever they have back there. I am just worried about Thompson. Soul says, Waddle and Monty or Gibbs and Dell? Give me the Gibbs and Dell side, 100%. That's a big boy trade. Soul that I want the Gibbs and Dell side. Go do it. Michael says, rate my team: QB Daniels, running back Henry, Mason, Najee, Irving, wide receivers Hill, Metcalf, AJ Brown, Cooper, BTJ, Judy, McBride, Puka, and Jordan. Oh, you got, wow, what a squad. I'm giving this an A-. I think this is a really great squad, Michael. And when Puka comes back, we could be looking at this as an A. I think AJ Brown and Puka, you got some injuries that you're dealing with and you're going to have to overcome, but definitely hold on to this team. Solid squad. Your boy, thoughts on Kirk rest of season? Not as high on Kirk. Rest of season with Christian Kirk, we are looking somewhere around, what? Rest of season rankings, where do I have Christian Kirk? All the way down at wide receiver 37. Not looking good for anybody in the pass catching for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your boy says, full PPR. Who should I start in flex? Zamir White, Demarcus Robinson, Hopkins, Thielen, or Lockett? A lot of crappy options here, your boy. You didn't do me a lot of good favors. I want you to know that. But as I'm looking through, as I'm thinking about who I would do, I think we're going with Zamir White. And your boy, I don't feel good about it. I really don't. I really don't feel good telling you to start Zamir White. He's going up against Carolina, though. It's a great matchup. 3.6 fantasy points in week 1, 5.6 fantasy points in week 2. That's not going to win you a week. But the other options you gave me, I don't feel confident in as well. So give me Zamir White versus the Carolina Panthers. Appreciate you, dude. NMB said, I have Ford on bench trying to trade him. It's been a hard doing business for him. Any player suggestions that go through running backs or QBs for Jerome Ford? So, yeah, I think Jerome Ford, the reason a lot of people aren't is because as much as we've seen the volume, it hasn't led to amazing fantasy football points. But then the second part with Jerome Ford is knowing that you got Nick Chubb coming back in a few weeks. So could you trade Jerome Ford for Najee Harris? Could you trade Jerome Ford for Devin Singletary? Could you trade Jerome Ford for DeAndre Swift? Like, that's kind of the range of running backs that he's currently going in right now. In regards to quarterbacks, I don't really have a good grasp on where he's going around quarterbacks. I mean, you're probably looking at like a Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield type for Jerome Ford. And like I said, at that, I'm probably just trading him for one of those running back options. Steve562, appreciate you being here, my dude. You said start 3, Pittman, JSN, JMO, Worthy, or Waddle with Brown out. So for starting 3, we will be starting, man, you gave me a lot of guys in similar ranges here, my dude. So like I said, I want to preface this by saying once we get like this linear, I always don't feel great in my rankings, but it's okay. We're going to go with Michael Pittman Jr. We're going to be going with JSN. And we're going to be going with Michael Pittman, JSN, and Jameson Williams. That's who I'm going with. Worthy's a big play waiting to happen. But I think, especially last week after what we saw out of JSN, you 100% have to be taking some JSN. Sure says, interesting. Yeah, I feel like he can maybe take over wide receiver 1 role. I see who will make more upside than McConkey. Yep, 100%. Steve says, Miami needs to trade for Bryce Young or Trey Lance immediately, or just sign Ryan Tannehill. I mean, it's like the perfect reunion there for the Miami Dolphins. Anybody. Are you a quarterback? Can you breathe? Go to Miami. I saw an interesting 3-team deal with the Rams getting Bryce Young and Matthew Stafford going to the Dolphins. That's 100% not going to happen, but was interesting that Fox Sports was talking about that today. Spanx says, bro, I made the trade. Thank you, and I'll let you know how the rest of my season turns out for me. Dude, Spanx, come into the comments on any video, bro. Would love to hear how you're doing during the season. Happy to answer any more start-sit questions for you as well. Soul says, I bet you I benched Kirk this week. It goes crazy. Soul, that's how it works, bro. You know it. You and I both know. You're going to choose the wrong guy. I'm going to choose the wrong guy for you. So that's part of the fun of this game that we play. Out of these guys, Amir White, Demarcus Robinson, Hopkins, yeah, who should I drop for Kareem Hunt? I'm going with Adam Thielen. Yeah, I don't think the Red Rocket's going to change anything for this Carolina Panthers offense. I still think Lockett with the Seattle offense is enough. I do like, no, you know what? Do look at, I want Adam Thielen in this offense over Xavier, even though I think Xavier has more upside later on in his career. Your boy, do drop some Xavier Legette for Kareem Hunt. Soul says, Chargers defense against Steelers or Packers against Tennessee. And this, honestly, I'm surprised we haven't gotten a defensive question yet in the stream, so you are the absolute first. And if I was going to be banking on a defense, I think I'm taking the Chargers at Pittsburgh. I think as much as Justin Fields can run around, they haven't been able to score a ton of actual real-life points. So give me some Chargers defense. Isaac said, "Hey bro, I traded Pitts and Connor for McBride. What do you think? I feel like after watching Pitts on Monday Night Football, I don't see him as safe." Yeah. So I would say this. I think you gave up Isaac a lot to get McBride. Now, trust me, I do like McBride a lot rest of season. I mean, if we're talking about him in my tight end ranking rest of season, I have McBride right now sitting as my tight end 1. So I'm still very confident in Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, both of those guys high up on the board. But Kyle Pitts right now, I have him as my tight end 8. But the thing is, James Conner right now, I have him as my RB12. So I feel like I definitely lean the Pitts and Conner side, but I also understand Conner hasn't played a fully healthy season, and I understand, Isaac, the worry that you might have there. So honestly, I don't love that trade for you, but I understand why you did it, and especially if you have other running back depth, I could see that working out for you. Sure says, over under on Deshaun Watson getting waived or going to jail. LOL. I don't think he goes to jail. I don't think he gets waived. I mean, that contract, he's pretty much locked and loaded there for the next 2 years at least. Michael says, I traded Caleb and Mostert for Metcalf last week. Michael, you are making dubs all the way across the board. Huge. Jaime says, you think trading away Ford for Swift is good? You think trading away Ford? Yes. I have Gibbs and going to need a filler when his bye week's on week 5. Yeah. I just think Nick Chubb's going to come back. It's going to eat into the work for Ford. And the offense hasn't looked amazing. I think Swift's going to get more and more volume as the year goes on. I know you still got Khalil Shakir and Roschon Johnson. I have those guys so close. So, Jaime, if you really appreciate one of those guys more than the other, I would go with your gut. But I do have Ford, I think, one spot ahead in my rest of the season rankings over Jerome. I have Ford one spot behind DeAndre Swift in my rest of the season rankings. Your boy, thoughts on my team? AR, H-Chain, Mason, Hill, Adams, McBride, Ayuk, bench. Oh, dude, you got an awesome starting lineup. Looking to upgrade at running back, who should I target and trade? I mean, yeah, you got 2 bona fide RB1s for the time being. Can you trade Christian Kirk and Mason to go get a better elite level running back? Potentially, but that would be the only one I'd be looking to do, because if for some reason CMC is out even longer, you're going to want to just keep riding Mason, because if there's some reason that CMC comes back and gets re-hurt, like I said, Jordan Mason's my RB18 rest of the season. So if you can tier up into like a Travis Etienne, James Conner with adding in Christian Kirk onto Mason, that's kind of a deal that I'd be looking to do. But I know that that's sometimes realistic with what you're thrown in front of you. Roskoff, appreciate you tuning in, my dude. You said, got a trade for Kamara and Flowers for Hall and Ayuk. What do you think? A trade for Kamara and Flowers for Hall and Ayuk. Personally, I want the Hall and Ayuk side. That's who I want. So I know Kamara's been hot. Rest of season, I have Kamara as my RB6. I have Breece Hall as my RB2. And I actually have Ayuk ahead of Flowers in rest of season rankings. So give me that Breece Hall and Ayuk side over the Alvin Kamara side. Jaime said, my other running back is Mason, but he's currently my flex. Flex that boy. Michael said, trade Caleb and Mostert for DK last week. Oh, flex on us. Michael said, how often do you stream? So I'm streaming for sure every Wednesday night. That is my night to stream. We typically stream once on the weekend as long as I'm here. Like last weekend, I had my mom in town, so I didn't stream last weekend, but we're looking to probably stream this weekend on Friday or Saturday night. And then we also will be streaming Sunday before the games. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, the weekend streams just kind of depend on what I got going on. But as long as I don't have anything going on, which I try not to, then we are streaming. Your boy, rest of season, Chargers D or Buccaneers D? Oh, defenses, I stream defense, dude. So it's hard for me to tell you one or the other. But if I had to choose one of the defenses, I mean, I don't really like either of them rest of season very much. But Chargers are there, and then Bucks. Where do I have the Buccaneers? Yeah, I mean Chargers. But I both have them like in the 20s. Rest of season rankings for defenses. Jaime says, thoughts on Packers D and Raiders defense, who will put up more points this week? Goodness. We're into the defensive questions, and I love it. I think we're going with Raiders defense, Jaime. I think the Raiders drop. I see that flag. I think we're looking at the Raiders defense dropping some. And then Sure says Pats D. Where do I have Pats D this week? I mean, rest of the season I have Pats D decently high, but going up against the Jets, I'm not feeling great about them. Have them down at my RB17 rest of week. Should TI? Don't know what that was for, but if you need a question, let me know. Oh, should I drop either Hopkins or Tank Dell for Rashid Shaheed. I would drop Hopkins. I would keep Tank Dell, but drop Hopkins for Shaheed. Like that deal for you. Isaac said, also my running backs are Brees Hall and A-Chain. By the way, I like to use wides on my flex. Also, what would you do with Waddle and Ridley? I was thinking of maybe pairing them up. I don't know. Yeah, I think if you pair them up for a trade, that's going to be the only way that you're going to be able to trade them away, Isaac. Now, who to trade them for, that's a whole nother question. Like I said, have West receiver rankings like Jalen Waddle as wide receiver 20. So could you get into like a Chris Godwin or a Drake London or Malik Neighbors for those two? That's kind of the question. But those guys, whoever owns them, might kind of see into what you're trying to do and be like, I'll wait and see what happens this week. And once that happens, I think we're going to see Jalen Waddle's value even plummet further. Should I drop? Yeah, I would do Hopkins. You mean Khalil Herbert, not Shakir? Jaime, it's getting late, bro. It's getting late. You know what I meant. Tricks, appreciate you. Happy Wednesday. Jaime said, didn't know Shakir had a brother. LOL. Got to trade for Kamara and Flowers for Hall. Yeah, Hall and Ayuk is who I'd go with. Michael says, Odunze or Chris Jen Watson rest of season. Another late round decision. I'm personally going with Christian Watson rest of season over Odunze. But if the Bears and Caleb Williams start to turn that around, we could see a lot of interesting things happen. Eddie said, would you trade Devontae Adams for Jonathan Taylor? I have Saquon and Bijan at running back, Waddle, DJ Moore, J-Mo, T. Higgins. I mean, I think it makes your wide receiver core super depthless. But I do think getting Jonathan Taylor, who I have higher rest of season, would be a good move for you, Eddie. So give me some Jonathan Taylor there. Steve, appreciate being here. He says starters, Kamara, Javonte Williams, bench, Samaje Perine, Hill, Quorum, Tajay Spears, help a brother out. So, yeah, I would say, like, in regards to starters, yeah, I mean, you're starting Kamara, you're starting Javonte Williams. I think we're in an interesting spot with your team and your depth. I mean, you got a lot of handcuffs here. So I think you just got to hope for injuries and hope to be starting the starting running back. The issue is I don't know who to tell you to trade because like no one's going to trade like a lot for like Javonte, Blake Corum. So someone's going to want Kamara. It's hard for me to tell you to tear down from Kamara after what he's doing, Steve. So I think you're kind of in a rough spot that you're going to have to just hold out on, which I know you said to help you out. So I'm not trying to disrespect you at all, but that's kind of how I view those things going. Your boy, full PPR. Who would you rather start, Walker, London, or Dell? Well, I don't think Walker's going to play this week. I still think it's going to be Zach Charbonnet, so I think it's going to be Drake London for you. But if Ken Walker does start, your boy, I'm 100% starting Ken Walker. Sure says, what's your take on Chicago moving forward, Moore and Swift or others? I think hopefully Caleb Williams can kind of start to turn this season around. That's kind of my hope here. Sure, for the Chicago team. NMB said, would you trade Mason for Connor? Yes, I 100% would. Feel like CMC might not play all year and a little worried Connor will get hurt. Yeah, there is always the worry, but we're talking about the running back position. Both of these guys are in harm's way all the time, so there's 100% the possibility that both of them end up getting hurt. I'm personally going to be leaning towards James Conner here. I have him higher in my rest of the season rankings. Jaime says weekend streams. Yes, 100%, dude. We're trying. We're trying. Like I said, it's kind of been busy for me these early weeks of the season, but we're gonna keep pushing on. Antonio, appreciate you being here, my guy. You said rest of the season PPR, Walker, Kyron, or Jacobs. I'm personally going with Jacobs, Kyron, Walker in that order, but Kyron and Jacobs are back-to-back for me. Then who would I get sleeper D? Like I said, I just play matchup sure, so whoever's playing the Carolina Panthers. That's kind of my secret this year. Spank says, what do you think of J.K. Dobbins? Huge sleeper, or am I tripping? Yeah, I mean, I think he's broken out, Spanks, at this point. I don't think he's a sleeper anymore. I have him as my RB22 rest of the season, and I think if he has a big week this week, it's going all up from here. Is Ravens defense nice, or should I keep swapping every week? I think rest of the season, Baltimore Ravens, I have him as my number 2D, so I think it is nice. But I think you should see going forward what that's going to look like. Your boy says non-PPR. Who would you start in flex? DJ Moore, Godwin, Pollard, or Steele? I'm starting Godwin in flex. If you need two, I would do Godwin and then Pollard. Appreciate you, boy. Isaac said, yeah, I was thinking if I get one sustainable tight end and give up Connor, I'm fine because I'm thinking Pitts just doesn't do anything what I saw. Yeah. I understand why you did it. I think I'm higher on Connor than a lot of people. NMB, or would you prefer we hold Mason for a little longer while he balls out? I mean, I think you can wait until the end of next week and kind of have the same decision on your mind. So I think you take the points this week and then we look, because like we said, there's a lot that can change. So I would personally hold. Full PPR thoughts on starting Anthony Richardson. I have him as my QB6 this week. So unless you have Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, or Jalen Hurts, 100% starting some Anthony Richardson. Appreciate you being here and for tuning in. Camden, if you could trade Waddle 1-1, who are some guys you are high on or should target? Yeah, I have him as my wide receiver 20. So I would be looking to trade him for Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Drake London. Those would be some guys I'm targeting, Camden. Appreciate you. Yeah, boy, would you trade Mason and Christian Kirk for Jacobs? Yes. Yes, I would do that. Yeah, boy, 100%. I was hoping Vidal would go to work. He was a sleeper for me. It just didn't happen. It hasn't happened, and we're still kind of looking at what that's going to be going forward. Steve said lots of injuries, so hopefully better running back options in the upcoming waiver days. Appreciate the feedback, my guy. Steve, appreciate you always tuning into the streams. You guys absolutely always support me, and I just appreciate that about you. Jaime says, is Romoduze worth trading for? Owner offered him in a late round 2025 pick for Amari and a mid 2025 pick. Yes. 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 Is this keeper or is this... I sent him and Sutton prior, and also Dunze has been listed questionable with knee. Yes, I still like that trade. I like that trade for you. Like that trade. So if you guys, like I said, I just saw a subscribe come in, so make sure we're going to be waiting here for that to come through, that start sit question. But I'm going to give the 5-minute warning that if you guys have any final start sit questions, to fire those bad boys away, because we're going to be going to bed here soon. You said, should I target in a trade using Ridley and Waddle? Isaac, did I just say? I feel like I just answered this with Ridley and Waddle. Yeah, if you're using both those guys, I would be trying to target. Could I get into a Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave? That's who I would be doing. NMB said, you think Tua is coming back and would he be worth buying low? No, not buying low in Superflex. I think potentially he comes back, but if a doctor says anything crazy, that's kind of what we're doing. Antonio says, also, would you do Kyron, Mason, Mostert? Sorry, my wife's trying to go to bed, so I'm over here whispering. And Waddle for Walker, Jacobs, and Coleman. PPR, my other wide receivers are Jamar, Rasheed, Odunze, Dubs. My other running backs are Chubb, Chase Brown. Do Kyron, Mason, Mostert, and Waddle for Walker, Jacobs, and Coleman. No, I'm holding the Kyron, Mason, Mostert side there. Antonio, appreciate you being here and asking. 16-team full PPR keeper. Yeah, I would do the Odunze side. Spanks, who are you starting, Quentin Johnston or Alec Pierce? Deep question, Spanks, and that is interesting. I'm starting Quentin Johnston. I'm giving you guys like a little like ASMR here with my like whispering, so hope you guys like it. Michael says, last week I traded Waddle for Puka. How did I do? Huge, because now we know what exactly happened with Waddle, and we're assuming Puka's going to come back with Matty Boy Stafford. Steve said, last question. I have Richardson, Tua. Should I keep Tua on the IR or target a different QB? Personally, I'm probably targeting a different QB, depending on who it is. Like, Tua rest of season for me, you're probably having, 100% a different QB. Like, do you have, like, an Aaron Rodgers, Watson, Daniel Jones, Will Levis, Bo Nix? Take any of those guys over good old Tua. Appreciate you, Steve. Isaac said, dude, can you answer my question again? I got an ad right when you... LOL. Isaac, bro. Apologies. Who would you target trying to trade with Ridley and Waddle? I would, going back to that, I would be targeting Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Chris Olave, or Drake London. That's who I'd be trying to trade Waddle and Ridley for. Thanks, Isaac, for letting me know. Glad I could answer that for you again. Is it Joquin? Yo, appreciate you. Receivers are Pittman, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen. Do I trade JT for Dell and Dobbins? Then trade Kamara for Garrett Wilson and Aaron Jones or something like that. Yeah. I personally, if I could tear down from both those guys to get Dell, Dobbins, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Jones, I'm going to do that because I know it's going to make your team better and have more depth. Now, I do like the elite level guys. So I think, honestly, I'm probably holding off on the JT deal, but I think the Kamara deal, I'm intrigued with that. But I think if you hold on to JT and Kamara, you got two hammer running backs that would be hard for your league to compete with. So I don't think there's a wrong move, but I'm personally probably, now that I've talked myself into it, I'm holding JT and Kamara. I feel like I should try to say something for my team. Josh Allen, Kamara, Barkley, what would you try to bundle and trade for? Honestly, I'm probably, can you bundle like a Ford, Amari, and Dell? Like something like that. And could you try to get into like a DK Metcalf, Marvin Harrison Jr. neighbors type? Like that's kind of the deal that I'm trying to do. I know these trade questions are so hard for me to answer just because like I'm thinking about it. I don't know your league, but I'm trying to give, I guess, the best advice. It's always, trade questions are always hard. And I feel like I could go more in depth with this, but I know I got some questions lining up. I'm trying to get out of here. So Ron Scuff, ask me this on a comment and I'll think about this a little bit more for you. But you're killing it being 2-0, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Kenny says, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, full PPR. Brees, Cook, Najee, Ford, Braylon, Bucky. Opinions. I think you got a good team with Brees and Cook, and then we're just dealing with that Puka injury. So, and then you traded Cook and BTJ for Nico and Javante. Just got offered Malik and Moss for Nico and Javante. I want the Nico side over Malik Neighbors. I know there's full potential there, but I want the Malik and Neighbor side over. I want the Nico side over Malik and Moss. I think you got a good squad, but you traded Cook and BTJ for Nico. Yeah, I like that team for you. I think you're making moves, Kenny. Good job. Scorpio, you said I have Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, and Baker Mayfield. Who should I start this week? Go with Lamar Jackson. Spank said, also, are you starting Devonta Adams? Is he starter material? Yeah, you're starting him this week, 100%. I know it hasn't been great, but you're gonna have to keep starting the boy. Trick says best free agent wide receivers are Gabe Davis, Jennings, Jacoby, Brandon Cooks, Christian Watson, Josh Palmer. Who's saving my season? Go put one out for Christian Watson. Tricks. Go put one out for Christian Watson. I think we got the no Jordan Love has hurt all the Packers wide receivers. I think Jordan Love coming back next week should be better. But as long as you don't need to start him this week, I like Christian Watson there, Tricks. Kevin, appreciate you being here. You said, do I start Alec Pierce this week against Chicago and with Downs returning? I am personally not starting Alec Pierce this week. I think the target competition is going to be pretty fierce. So if you have a better option, you said I have A.J. Brown and Cup, so I'm desperate for it. I mean, yeah, if you're that desperate, start him. I'm in a lot of similar spots as you, where we're pretty desperate with our options. But I'm going to be holding off if I can on Alec Pierce and this wide receivers. Spanks, I like that. I like that, brother. I knew I would enjoy your stream. Yeah, Quentin Johnston, BB. Let's go, dude. Spanks, appreciate you. Like I said, we're streaming more all season long. We're going to be answering all your questions in the YouTube channel on our videos. So, like, if you like the stream, you're probably going to like the videos. Try to keep them 8 to 10 minutes long. Keep them action-packed with a ton of information and to help you guys win. So here to answer all your questions, whether it's through the comments, whether it's through the live streams, here for you. Like I said, guys, this has been absolutely amazing. I will wait 2 more seconds because I saw someone just subscribed. So if you have any final start sit questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we're probably going to end this bad boy. It's been an absolute fabulous stream. I appreciate all you guys for being here, for tuning in, for hanging out with your boy. Like I said, if you guys just subscribed here tonight, we will be, continuing to put out content. If you haven't tuned into my running back rankings video, go tune into that. We will be continuing to stream, doing a lot of great stuff. Yeah, appreciate you, Jaime. Appreciate you. Also, Trick said, oh man, injuries to Brown, Debo. Yes, it's been a wild season. There's been so many injuries, Tricks. My teams are screwed. Screwed. Jaime says, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Matson trade for CeeDee Lamb. Should I do this? I want the CeeDee Lamb side there, Jamie. So I would 100% do that. Give me the CeeDee Lamb side. Kevin says, drop Christian Kirk. Depends on who for. I mean, I have Christian Kirk as my wide receiver 39 through the rest of the season, so he is still worth being rostered for me. And then Johnny, I see you got a question coming in. You said starting lineup, Mayfield, Mason, Mixon, Henry, staying pat or trade. I mean, I think we're waiting for CMC to come back, dude. I think you got a good squad. You got a good enough squad. We're just waiting for CMC to come back. So I am holding firm. Cam the Ham says starting lineup. Oh, Cam. Yeah, sorry. I thought that was Johnny. Johnny, come in with another question. I'll see it. But yeah, I'd stay pat, Cam. I think you got a good squad. Johnny, let me know what your question is, and I'll answer it. Cam says, Goff, Bucky, Irving, Robson. Dude, yeah, solid squad. Absolutely solid squad, my dude. Love to see it. For all these damn injuries, I thought last season was brutal. Yeah, it's been even worse this season. It really has. It's been an insane first few weeks of the season. Like I said, Cam, not Cam, Johnny, do you got a question, bro? I'm about to hop off this bad boy, but I saw you comment, so I want to make sure I get all these questions. Joe Quinn says, Raheem on waivers, is he worth grab now? 100%. 100%. This Dolphins team, I know we're worried about the quarterback play. We're worried about the wide receivers, but these running backs, they're going to have to get these guys involved. So 100%. Go grab some Raheem. Johnny says, Caleb, any wide receiver comparable for ETN? Wanting to deal away ETN for a better wide receiver. My running backs are Connor, Montgomery, and Hubbard. And you guys, sorry, my wife did decide to go to bed. She's a school teacher, so trying to whisper. She's in the room across from me. For ETN, I guess we're doing a little bit of like ASMR. Neighbors would be a good one. I like Neighbors. I like an Ayuk. Mike Evans. Those would be guys out of target with Travis Etienne, Johnny. For you. Jaime says CMC is literally the glue that holds the fantasy world together. Without him, it's mad chaos. It is mad chaos. And then you said your wide receivers are Olave, Collins, Pickens, and Waddle. I mean, Olave and Collins isn't bad, but yeah, if you could get like a neighbor's Mike Evans type, I feel a lot better about that for you, Johnny. But like we said, I saw we just had, man, you guys are just keep subscribing, keeping me here. I appreciate all the support, guys. I really do. We're on the way, like I said, to 3,000 subscribers. So we're hopefully going to get there in the next 2 weeks. So like I said, if I can answer any questions for you here tonight, let me know. I'm putting on like the 3-minute warning. So if you guys subscribe, I know it makes you wait a minute, but then I will answer your question as quick and possible as I can, because I want you guys here in the community going forward. A lot of exciting things. We're putting out Panic video tomorrow. We're putting out rest of season rankings on Friday. We're putting out a stash video on Saturday, and we'll also be streaming. So a lot of cool stuff. And Johnny says fantasy football ASMR. You know what? We were joking. I was joking on my other stream that there's no one that does it. And so I guess I'm doing it here tonight. I guess we'll see. Maybe if you guys love it, we'll do an ASMR style. Like I said, I'm like slightly whispering. I turned up the volume on my mic to hopefully make up for it, but my voice doesn't sound like this usually. So appreciate you, Johnny. Making me laugh. Jeff, Hunter Henry or Pitts this week? Ooh, Jeff. Well, Hunter Henry's been on an absolute heater, but we got Kyle Pitts. I think we're still going with Kyle Pitts. I think we roll with the touchdown or bust with our boy Pitts. And then you said DeMarcus Robinson, Shakir, or Pittman. I'd be going with Pittman, even though it sucked. Fantasy football ASMR next stream. You know what? Maybe we should do that. But then people are going to be disappointed when they actually come to the real videos. And it's not ASMR. But maybe this is the niche that I need to start that hasn't been there. I just don't think I'm good at it. So you guys make me laugh, though. You guys do make me laugh. Cool. Lon says, I will have questions after waivers. Of course, Lon. Of course. Feel free to ask me any questions anywhere, anytime. But guys, this has been an absolute fabulous stream. If I did not answer your question, like I said, I will be Soul, he's back. Appreciate you, bro. We're about to end the stream as you jump back in. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, go to my running backs video today. Not that you have to watch it. Watch it while you're typing out your question. It helps me out. Hit that like button on that if you haven't already. I'm happy to answer any questions that you do have. But this has been an absolutely great stream. So if I can answer any questions for you going forward, we'll be streaming again later this week. We are putting out a lot more content, a lot more videos. So appreciate all you guys for tuning in. As always, thanks for watching. Gonna go get some sleep. Gonna try not to do an ASMR stream again, but it worked out a little bit. So if we want to do more, you guys need to request it going forward. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys here on the next one. Have a beautiful night, and Thursday Night Football is tomorrow. So let me know how I can help. Catch you on the next one. Peace.